ABC Sports presents a national championship conducted by the United States Golf Association. Welcome to the final round of the 94th U.S. Open Golf Championship. The classic stately clubhouse here at Oakmont. What memories are treasured there. Now it awaits a brand new champion's arrival. But the harsh examination here at Oakmont begins on the very first hole. Number 1 was originally a par 5, but was changed to a par 4 beginning with the 1962 Open. This year, there have been as many double bogeys there as birdies. Jack Nicklaus felt the sting the last couple of days, a 5 and a 6. One hole, though, has played tougher than number 1, the tumbling downhill test at the par 4 10th. There have been 140 bogeys to 20 birdies. Kerry Middlecoff once solved the riddle there. Exasperated, he smacked the ball onto the turnpike and stormed off the course during the 53 Open. And then finally, the 18th. This hole takes 4 outstanding shots, unless your name is Ben Hogan. In 1953, he capped off a wire-to-wire championship here with a perfect drive, a 6-iron to within 6 feet, and a birdie finish. For one man there later today, the dream comes true. Could it be 24-year-old Ernie Els? 7 under par after 3 rounds. Consider what he must be thinking about right now as you watch him warming up on the practice tee. Due to tee off at 1:40 today. He was one of the 6,012 entrants. Local qualifying, there were 5,750. Then for the sectional, 750 entrants. And on Thursday, 159 players with the dream. Later today, only one will be left standing. Will it be Clark Dennis? He finished 10th this year on the PGA Tour, best finish ever. And how about Fred Couples, back from the back injury? He's capable. Jumbo Ozaki, 6th, his best finish ever at a U.S. Open. John Cook, can he fashion another 65 as he did here on Friday? And there's Steve Pate, he tied for 3rd at Brookline. And Greg Norman, always dangerous, last year's British Open champion. Oh, and how about Curtis Strange? He's won 2 Opens. He is the only player here with 3 subpar rounds, with the unknown Steve Lowry out of Alabama at the age of 33 with a chance. And the Scotsman Colin Montgomery putting so well, averaging 26.7 putts around, the best of the leaders. Hale Irwin has won 3 Open championships already. How about Tom Watson firing a 32 on the front side, and Lauren Roberts blistering the course, a 64, the lowest round of the championship. And then the 2 foreigners. First time since they put the leaders together since 1961. The 2 international stars have made up the last group. Frank Nobilo of New Zealand with his very good friend, Ernie Els of South Africa. When they asked Frank, when did you first meet Ernie? He said, oh, what was it, about 3 or 4 in the morning, Ernie? On the first tee now, Greg Norman. He is 5 back of the lead. Using an iron. Well away now. And here's Tom Watson getting ready. He will begin at 4 under, playing with Lauren Roberts. The final tune-up. Nobody on that list has teed off yet. Still to come. We'll be covering all their stories here this afternoon. There you see that John Cook is away. David Edwards coming off a disappointing round, but a flourish at the 18th yesterday. Clark Dennis and Fred Couples bogeyed the first hole, so he now is at even par. Jumbo Ozaki even through 1. Jeff Sluman. Jim McGovern has played well today. He's under par for the final round. Kirk Triplett. There's Seve Ballesteros, Jeff Maggard, and Brad Faxon. But you know, you've got a chance at Oakmont. Look at some of the great comebacks. In 1983, Larry Nelson trailed by 7 after 2 rounds and stormed back to win the Open. then the great comeback by John Mahaffey at a PGA Championship in '78. 7 back going into the final 18 and 1 in a playoff. And then, of course, there was Johnny Miller. 6 back going into Sunday. He leapfrogged over 12 competitors with his famous 63. Well, good afternoon and welcome, everybody. With my colleague, Peter Allis, I'm Brent Musburger. You know, Peter, I think that today, more than an examination of swing mechanics, I think we're testing courage and will and intelligence. We're going to see what's inside these great players a little bit here today.
Oh, yes, and don't forget, they'll all be nervous. Some of them may look more nervous than others, but everyone will be a bit jumpy. So it's very important that they get away to a nice start. Find the fairway down the first, put it on the green, and if you've got to putt the hole, or hope you don't have one of those horrible 4 or 5 footers on the first, and if you do, strike it nicely and see it go into the middle of the hole. It'll be all here to see today, a sort of mirror of life, as it were, and there'll be a bit of everything.
You know, Peter, before we get into the activity here of the final round, I want to go back and share with you a moment of Friday. I want our audience to fully appreciate what happened out here with Arnold Palmer, and I know you go back so very far with him.
Oh, I've known Arnold for more than 30 years. We had some wonderful games in Ryder Cups and so on, and we've been friends over the years. And he's just been wonderful for the game. He played it with a flourish of cavalier spirit, a people's champion, and it's been an honour for me to watch him over the years. And it's sad that it's come to an end, but it came to an end in a very special way.
Here he is, his final arrival at the 18th.
It's been 40 years, and when you walk up the 18th and you get an ovation like that. I guess that says it all.
For every golfer in the entire world, I want to thank you.
Then it was into the press room.
You know, there's been a... God, I haven't won all that much. I've won a few tournaments. I've won some majors. But I suppose the most important thing is the fact that it has been as good as it has been to me. I think all this a little bit of just being a little sun-nipped and tired and ready to take a little rest. Hopefully, a few more golf tournaments along the way. I think that's about all I have to say. Thank you very much.
And there aren't many standing ovations in a press room. Now Jack Nicklaus made a run in this Open Championship earlier today. Now he is out on the 6th tee. 2 over for the day and 5 over for the championship. And we'll be hearing from Jack after he completes his round today. He will join us here with our ABC broadcast team. And right now, Peter, we want to go back out and watch Greg Norman with his second shot here on the first.
Well, he's one of the few players that can play an electrifying
Right thing,
round.
now, ball.
And do great things, but he's got to get away to a good start, and that, well, it's not the sort of, although he may pop it in from there, you never know. That's the beauty of this game. A lot of people live in a fantasy that they can turn it on when they feel like it. Not so, but he might pop that in.
Working with us on the course, Jerry Pate, who has won this Open Championship, Judy Rankin, Mark Rolfing, Bob Rosberg, and of course for his eloquence we'll be joined here in the broadcast booth by Jack Whitaker, and also giving us his expertise on the rulings, Frank Hannigan. Steve Melnick will also be with us, and I just want to take a quick moment here to congratulate my colleague. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Allis has agreed to a brand new multi-year contract to broadcast golf right here on ABC. I certainly look forward to working with you, sir. It was very nice of you to break out the champagne last night. Why, thank you.
Yeah, well, you're only used to Diet Coke, but I thought the big boy should have a little slurp.
Well, here's someone who'd like a great big gulp of champagne later today. Here is Norman's third.
But you see, he does some extraordinary things. He's got to get down in two, really, you feel. He can't afford to drop any shots. And that's, well, that's a pretty nice-looking putt. If it just comes and comes and comes and comes and comes, that's very good from long range. But they've all got to get away to a nice start. We saw yesterday, Ernie Els got away to an electrifying first 4 or 5 holes. And that's what's going to happen, that's what's got to happen, if somebody's going to come up from the rear of the field.
Back on the first tee, consider the butterflies here. Steve Lowry, 33 years old, back with the big fellas at the U.S. Open on Sunday.
Iron from the tee, that looked like dare I say, a Lucy Lockett.
Uh-oh.
A socket. Can't be, can it?
Did it go out? It appeared that way. Oh, and that's, oh, can you imagine what you feel? This is the worst thing that can happen. Here you are, the television cameras are on you, it's the final round of a United States Open Championship. You've taken out an iron, you want to work it down the fairway, hit it straight, don't care if it's short or not, and you strike it out of bounds.
Well, he may not be out of bounds, but it's very close to it.
John Cook coming off a birdie with an opportunity for a second in a row. Great start.
Great start for him. He had a shaky time in the middle and towards the end of his round yesterday. Whether it was fatigue, I don't know. But he looked very down and lost his concentration.
Jerry, what's the story with Lowry?
Well, it's apparent that he's either lost or out of bounds. We can't find the ball. There's a party of people at this time searching for it. And he didn't really seem to be that nervous on the first tee, but he's abandoned it and he is headed out to the middle of the fairway to play his next shot.
Meanwhile, Ernie Els continues to loosen up. And yesterday, Frank Hannigan caught up with young Els to see if we can't learn something about the young man.
Who got you started in golf and how old were you?
My dad got me started.
Was he a good player?
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was a good amateur player. He went down to about a 2 handicap, so he was pretty fair. And I got an older brother. You know, he started us both playing golf, and you know, he was always there for us, giving us golf clubs and taking us to the golf course. So he was pretty good for us.
Did your mother, like American mothers of junior golfers, have to drive you around all over the place when you were a good kid golfer?
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know how many miles my mother's done in that car of hers. They were really great for us. You know, every time we had to go to a tournament far away, they drove us there. So, you know, then they supported us right through.
What are your plans for the rest of the year? You can play in the United States now anytime you want, but will you go back to Europe for most of the rest of this season?
Yes, I've got commitments left in Europe. I'm going to play quite a few tournaments in Europe still, but obviously next year I'll be playing a lot more in the United States. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Curtis Strange played with Els yesterday, and he was very impressed. I want you just to listen to what he told Frank about Els.
I was waiting for that, and I was waiting for somebody to ask that. I think I just played with the next guy.
Really?
Guy, quote, guy, whatever that means. I think I did. He seems to, of course, I got him on a good day, obviously, so everybody's good when they play good, but he has strength. He has a lot of strength, and it's easy strength. He's smooth. He has a fantastic putting touch, especially at Oakmont. He seems to be able to chip and putt. He seems to, he seems to have it upstairs between his ears too. So everybody's been saying that. I haven't played with him, so I never know. But he seems to be okay.
Well, he lost last week to Lee Janzen, so he's been in the cauldron before. Played well, however, and then a few weeks back in your Volvo PGA, he had a chance, Peter.
Yep, played very well.
Now, Fred Couples is over in the 4th fairway here with his second shot on the 3rd hole.
Well, he missed the target by a long way on the right hole, and look at this. You see, if he'd made that shot on maybe at one of 10 holes on the course, it could have been out of bounds, unplayable, lost. That's the luck of the draw. Fred didn't mean to go down there, but it's come off, and he will probably get a birdie.
First tee, Colin Montgomery.
What's a nice straight drive.
Norman's on the second tee.
Used an iron off both the first and the second hole, so he's obviously trying to play for positional play with his power, of course. That's not a bad thing to do. There's very little breeze, threat of thunder later on.
Back on the first, Hale Irwin. Well, we mentioned Johnny Miller's 63, one of the great rounds in Open Championship history. Let's go back and review that feat with our Jack Whitaker. Jack.
Thank you, Brent. On a June Sunday in 1973, Johnny Miller began the final round of the United States Open 6 shots behind the leaders with 12 players ahead of him. Players with names like Nicklaus, Palmer, and Trevino. The young Californian had very little chance of winning the tournament. But then Miller birdied the first 4 holes, and then the 9th, 11th, and 12th, and the game was on. It was shots like this at the par 3 13th that defined his round, in which he hit every green in regulation and all but one fairway. This birdie was the 8th of the day against 1 bogey. Then another fine shot, an elegant 4-iron to the par 4 15th green, setting up yet another birdie opportunity. Which he converted to go 5 under for the tournament and 8 under par for the round. At the 16th, his tee shot left him with the longest putt of the day. Get it. He got down in 2 for his par, and at the 17th, he again put it close to the pin and just missed another birdie. Then at 18, another great iron approach shot had him closing in on a 62. And finally, the golfing god said, "No, no, Miller, 63, the championship in the history books, but that's all." Yes, the greens had been softened by rain, but they were soft for everybody else. Yes, it would have been a more incredible achievement had Oakmont putting surfaces been their normal speed-crazed selves. But all the other hazards of rough and bunkers and U.S. Open pressures were dancing in attendance. And Johnny Miller's closing round of 63 remains a high moment in the theater of the U.S. Open.
Still the low score, although Jack Nicklaus and Tom Weiskopf equaled it at Baltusrol. Oakmont par of 71 and Baltusrol a par of 70. So in relationship to par, Johnny Miller's is 8 under. Lauren Roberts took a shot at it yesterday with a 64 here. Now back to Freddie Couples. This is for a birdie.
Isn't it amazing? He missed the fairway by 40, 50, 60 yards. Found it in the middle of another fairway, over the trees, pops it in. Thank you very much.
Well, back to the problems of Lowry. This is for a double bogey on the first hole.
Well done. Well, we said at the beginning you probably see a little bit of everything today. Some humour and some sadness. There's Greg Norman, second at the second. Not bad. Rolling back. This is a lightning fast green. Wicked slopes on this putting surface.
This on videotape. Hale Irwin's second shot on the opening hole. This testing par 4.
It's well back off the tee. It was from 206 yards. Hoping that the hill in front of the green was firm.
Disappointing finish to an otherwise solid round yesterday. Birdie attempt for Norman at the second. Montgomery's second at the first.
Just 165 yards, no more than an 8-iron.
Look at this too. What a lovely break.
And on that first hole, that is definitely as good as it gets. Our Steve Melnick, who won an amateur championship on this great golf course, took a close look at number 1.
When a player makes his way on the first tee of any major championship, he's usually battling a case of nerves and anxiety. But here at the first hole at Oakmont, you introduce the third element. That is the element of intimidation. See, a lot of players think this is the toughest opening hole in U.S. Open Championship history, and many feel that arguably it is the most difficult opening hole in all of major championship golf. The opening tee shot must be fitted between a series of bunkers to the right and to the left. Now, if a player blocks his tee shot way to the right, he could knock it out of bounds. Now, this downhill second can be played with anything from a long iron to a medium iron, but just because it's downhill does not make it an easy second shot. And if this hole wasn't hard enough, take a look at this green. It slopes from the front toward the back. The players will have a lot of problems stopping their ball in the vicinity of the flagstick because of the firmness and the speed of the green. You see a lot of balls roll through to the back of the green. This deep rough behind it will catch a lot of shots. A lot of tough thirds will be played from here. Don't be surprised to see these players make more than their share of bogeys on the first hole.
Well, today there's been only one birdie there, Steve. Tom Watson on the first tee using an iron.
A little surprised that he's got the iron here. He's been driving it well all week long. But this one is not good. Headed toward the fairway bunker.
Plunged right in. Amazing, isn't it?
This would be the second birdie of the day here on the opening hole. Montgomery converts.
That ball went much further past than I thought it would. It just shows you the speed. He pitched 5-6 paces short of the green, and it looked at one time as if he was going to end up within a foot or two of the hole. Went 10 feet past. But never mind, that's a nice 4. He found the fairway, played a nice second, got a good break, 2-putted, a little tentative, but it's okay.
Now you see the ninth tee. ninth green down there, I should say, and right behind it. See those fellows moving around? And that's the practice green there, right in front of the club. Very, very unique.
I've never seen it's like anywhere else in the world of golf where I've travelled. It really is unique. Now this man, Ernie Els, is 6'3" and a big heavyweight if ever there was one, but he has a lovely touch, and you'll notice, well, most people who do things well make it look simple. He has a putting stroke that looks simple, just compact and easy. It's the rhythm of the strike that counts. He reads the greens well. I was saying yesterday, the players brought up in South Africa are used to reading greens, different grasses.
Here's Irwin for his par on the first.
That's all right.
Curtis Strange, second here on the second. This has been a birdie opportunity hole so far today. With that flagstick cut a little bit closer in the front, it is playing under par in this round. That was Lowry's great shot that you saw up on the green.
That's a 9-iron from 135, headed right at the flagstick. And that's what you have to do when you come back after a double bogey start.
Here is Ernie Els moving to the first tee. Watson second on the opening hole.
No chance to get it to the green from here. 235 yards. The crowd likes it, but he's pulled it left, headed toward the rough. Not a very good start for Tom.
Second shot on the third for Norman.
Back of this green falls away and the front rises up. It's almost like an overturned saucer.
Well, this would send a little roar back up that hill toward Ernie Els if Curtis can convert this birdie.
Straight uphill, very easy putt. Curtis hit a good shot on the first hole, missed a putt for birdie. He just has to show a little patience today. He's hitting the ball well. He's just got to wait for the putts to fall.
Ernie Els and Frank Nablo soon to tee off in that final group. Watson in trouble on the opening hole. No one yet sending cheers back at young Els. He's noted in Europe as a steady, cool-headed youngster. And if he breaks well today, he could well put away his first major championship. Lowry, and what a great comeback this would be for him if he can birdie the second. Well done. There have been 13 birdies at the second as compared with only one on the first here in the final round, and that's Watson trudging back toward his ball.
He went down and had a real good look at what's left for him here. His ball actually went through the thick rough and into some rough that's been trampled down by the gallery. You can see him moving him over a little bit there. Still a tremendously difficult shot. The green slopes away from him. I don't know if there's any way to stop it on the green. It's like pitching it down on the Pennsylvania Turnpike and trying to stop it going downhill. Oh, he hit it as softly as he could. I think you're going to see that all day long. These greens are definitely faster than they were yesterday.
Well, Ron Reed is the USGA starter back up on the first tee.
94th United States Open Championship conducted by the United States Golf Association. The referee accompanying the players is Reg Murphy, President of the United States Golf Association from Baltimore, Maryland. The referee is Trey Holland, Chairman of the USGA Rules of Golf Committee from Indianapolis, Indiana. Special observer is Lord Griffith, Captain of the Royal Navy Golf Club, St. Andrews, Scotland. The honor, play away, please. Play well.
Well, this is it. Could be the biggest day of his life. Many signs of nerves there. With the driver.
Trouble.
Tried to get back into the short stuff, not where he wanted to be, but his power, if it's reasonably well, he might force it down close to the green.
Will it be Tom Watson? Shaky start. This is for a bogey on the first. Well done to lose only one after his second shot, and now the problems of our leader, Ernie Els. But before we do that, let's quickly check Curtis Strange, his second at the third.
With a 6-iron right out of the middle of the fairway, 174. Playing slightly uphill. Boy, very firm green.
Now, let's go bit of Bob Rosberg and Ernie Els' situation?
Ernie is just about the kind of a lie and shot that you'd expect from such a wild drive at an open. He got across the path that was trampled down and into a lie that's not very good. He has about 195 yards to the hole. He possibly, if he had a clear shot, he possibly could get enough club on the ball to get it to the green because it's so much downhill. But to get it on the green, he's going to have to take the chance of shooting it over this tree that's in front of him, maybe 100 yards in front of him, very high tree. If he shoots it out to the right, it'll either run through the fairway and go into the bunker. Anything to the right, though, is okay. You don't want to fool.
Where's the ball?
Completely blind. There's a water tower up on the hill that he can use as a guide. He's got to shoot it about 20 yards to the left of that water tower on the hill way over on the other golf course.
Let me bring in Frank Hannigan for a moment. Frank, there's that tower high up above there that the official is pointing at. Clarify what's happening here for us.
Well, I don't know whether that's movable or not. If it's not movable, what they're discussing is whether or not he's entitled to what's called line of sight relief from that thing, which could make a dramatic difference in the nature of his shot. If it's movable, however, the crane or tower will be simply moved aside. That's Trey Holland, Dr. Trey Holland from Indianapolis, discussing this ruling in this situation with the player Ernie Els.
The top of the TIO is where we're gonna go from. So getting lined up here, we're gonna come one club length.
We're going to be moving this way.
Yeah, they're marking here. We're gonna come one club length.
While we await that, here's Tom Watson on the second tee.
Second.
Once again with an iron.
Let's go back now, Rossi, with this situation. Keep Frank Hannigan tuned in here, and let's discuss what's happening right now.
Frank, I don't understand this ruling at all. This forklift here is definitely movable. It's sitting on a truck. The driver's right here. He can move it anywhere he wanted.
Go ahead, pick up your mark.
I agree, Rossi. It makes all the difference in the world. If it's not movable, then the ruling is totally correct.
We'll go
it's
out
got
here to
kind
deal
of
with
a
it.
line of sight relief from what's called a temporary immovable obstruction. But it's my understanding if it's movable, it's movable, and it should have had a plan for the heavy rough. I'll check with the USGA, Rossi, and see if I can get a clarification.
I will check with Dr. Holland here and see what that was all about.
Perfect. That's the way to do it, Rossi.
Either way, Bob, that is a big break that the young fella's had. His nerves must be jangling a bit, and to play a poor drive, found a very bad lie in the rough, and to be able to drop it clear, he may well knock it on the green now and get a 3, because he might still take 6, but that's a big plus for Els on this first hole. Look, it's clean as a whistle, nice and firm and tight. He's got to just find the green.
Now Curtis still trying to convert a birdie. He was nibbling on the first two.
Pretty straight putt, pretty flat.
Yes! And now the roar will go up. So a controversial ruling here has given young Ernie Els an opportunity on the first hole.
He's got to capitalize on it now. He's got to find the green, or at least, at worst, get a 4. That's a big break.
Well, Els has a fairly easy shot now from 195. He can turn it off this lie. That's a great shot from Els. I have Dr. Holland here with me. Doctor, how about giving us a little explanation of that?
The obstruction intervened on his line of play, and so he was entitled to relief because of the intervention.
Thank you. This is Novelo from 185. I don't think that Dr. Holland realized that that was a movable thing. I did ask him. I asked him, and he is not, he was kind of taken aback at the idea that that was a movable obstruction.
Novelo's second shot to this opening hole, 463 yards, all downhill. If that stops, it's a gem. It'll come down a bit, but that's a super shot from Frank Novelo. It'll still work its way a little beyond the hole, still hasn't stopped yet, but good opening 2 shots.
We're back live. We're on the first green. This is Frank Nobilo of New Zealand, trying to draw to within 1 of Els. Now, before that, it was Ernie Els after receiving that generous ruling. And he hit his second onto the green, and this was his putt just moments ago. Now we want to go back to Bob Rosberg for more on the ruling involving young Els. Rossi?
Brent, I'm with Dr. Trey Holland, the chairman of the Rules Committee for the USGA, and who made the ruling. You determined that even though the object was on wheels, that they could not retract the arm far enough?
The platform that the camera was on could not be retracted further, and that intervened on his line of play, so he was given relief under the temporary immovable obstruction rule.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Now for par. And he gives one up on the opening hole. And now, folks, the battle is joined. This is not what a youngster like Ernie Els wanted to have happen to him on the opening hole when you're fighting those nerves anyway, trying to win your first major championship. You're the lead horse, and now things are apt to back up at this U.S. Open. Greg Norman trying to mount a charge. This for a birdie. To within 3 of the lead, a 2-shot swing involving Els and Norman. Second at the 4th for Curtis.
What do you think, Brett? Curtis hit a perfect tee shot, has 263 to the hole, but the hole is going to play, the second shot's going to play much shorter than that. He's now asking for another club. It's playing downhill a little bit. The ground is extremely hard and is downhill. He has to pitch this ball only about 200 yards.
Meanwhile, Jerry, we want to watch Nobilo finish up here at 1. There's his par. Curtis, incidentally, has birdied number 4 2 of the 3 previous days. Nobilo at 5 under, 1 back of Els, and now we return to Curtis Strange, Jerry.
Well, he's gone now to a 3-wood. That's, excuse me, a 4-wood, which is a lot of club to be playing here. He had a 2-iron out. Greens and fairways are extremely hard. The golf course did not receive any rain last night. Playing very fast.
Can he see the flag, Jerry? It doesn't look as if he can.
He has a blind shot on this shot, cannot see the flag. He only has a pole behind the green that he's directed by. He's playing a little left to right cut shot, and that is right at it.
Right at it.
You can hear him say he knows it's right at it. Needs to get down.
Yeah, good shot.
Very good shot.
Watson at the third hole, his second shot of the par.
Center of the fairway, 190 yards for Tom up the hill.
Trailing by one, Nablo.
With an iron, laying up.
Curtis Strange, his third, an eagle opportunity here, eh, Jerry?
This could be the most important shot for Curtis today. If he chips it well, he could hold it, make an easy 4. If he doesn't hit a good shot and makes 5, his whole outlook on the day is going to change. Could be a big swing here. Not a bad shot. Got a little away from him. That's not an easy shot out of the little collar there.
One eagle there earlier today and 15 birdies. Now this moments ago. Yells out with the iron on the second tee.
Hit that iron to take the bunkers out of play, Brent.
Much better. He's positioned that nicely down the fairway. 342 yards this second hole. There's bunkers down the right-hand side. You see how the fairway just has a little kink in it, and the players have come down to the left-hand side. They're short of those grassy mounds. A lot of bunkers round the greens. 7 or 8 bunkers all dotted around. But it's a very slopey green, very fast indeed. So although it's only 342 yards, if you take 4, you don't really feel as if you've done anything too stupid. See the flag today, away on the front right as the players come up. Now here's Noblo.
Noblo has 150 yards up the hill. Slight breeze in his face, very slight.
They look very unhappy with that. I don't know whether he heard a noise or some sort of distraction, but as soon as he hit the ball, he looked across, put it into trouble.
See if Curtis can convert the birdie and pull to within 1.
You know, playing golf with Curtis Strange since we were teenagers, there's no question today on the tour actively competing. I would say he and Hale Irwin are the 2 toughest players out here now that Raymond has gone on to the seniors, and he will definitely be a threat today. He loves it.
Now L's back at the second.
He has 140.
That's all right. It's moving back towards that. No, it's stopped, but that's okay. He's got to just settle down now after that little controversial happening on the first.
Hale Irwin second at the 4th.
It's 272 yards. Hale carries a 3-wood and a 4-wood. Started this ball well left.
Skipped between the bunkers. You could see where it finally came to rest.
.560 yards that hole.
Watson at the 3rd.
Good putt. It's gone by now. It's away.
Second shot of the 4th for Montgomery.
Well, he's driven it a long way. It's just 260 to the hole, 240 to the front. He went with the 3-wood.
Strange is away to par 4, 5th hole.
With an iron off the tee here. Must put it in the short grass. That's a beautifully done tee shot there. 2 iron.
So with Ernie Els bogeying the first hole, Curtis Strange, pair of birdies, pulls to within 1, trying to win this U.S. Open Championship for the 3rd time. Greg Norman with an early birdie. He has pulled to within 1. Hale Irwin, Colin Montgomery 2 off, and now we go back to Nablo.
Not a very good lie, but not a hard shot. Everything's going to kind of funnel. If he hits it up to the left, it's going to funnel down to the hole. Just didn't get it far enough left, and you can see what happens there. That ball may roll right down the fairway.
Oakmont.
Well, there you are.
Norman. 3rd shot here. At 4, Tom Watson.
Tom just holed about a 4-footer back at the 3rd for a very important par. It's the length putt he's been missing the last couple days. Has driven the ball extremely well this week. He doesn't like this one though. Headed toward the bunkers on the right.
He has found 2 fairway bunkers off the tee here in the early going. This is for par.
Yeah, a good tee shot, a miss-hit or some misdirected second shot, and then that chip which ended up in a silly place, really. Still work to do, and at this moment Curtis Strange appears to be the strong man at this moment.
Let's go back to Curtis on the par 4 52nd.
He has 141 to the front. Flag is cut 8 paces on. Very difficult pin placement here. Mr. Eager has stepped up a notch with these hole locations today. They're much tougher than yesterday. Wind slightly in his face. Playing downhill, obviously he has a great lie here in the center of the fairway. With a 9-iron. That's a great golf shot right there. Like another birdie.
That would pull into a tie with Els right now, pending the outcome of Els' result here on the 2nd.
This is one of the fastest putts on the golf course right here.
Third shot at the 4th for Irwin.
Well, it's an awkward looking stance, but a lot of green to work with. He should be able to play it.
Played it well. Little pop up in the air, landed softly.
Well, it's Sunday at the U.S. Open. Ernie Els starts with a bogey. Now he must try to gather himself here and salvage a par on the second.
Even though he was leading the tournament, Brent, he was 48th in putting going into today's round.
That was a good one, though, Bob.
I'll say that was a big one there.
That was a big one there.
Back on the par 5, Colin Montgomery, a birdie opportunity, trailing Els by 2.
Made a wonderful pitch from the face of the bunker. Very, very thick grass. I could only see about 4 dimples of the ball. Couldn't have played a better shot.
Greg Norman has reached the par 3 6th.
He's 1 under. Nothing really happening. Nothing electrifying as yet, but you never know when he's going to ignite.
Good shot, Greg.
Nablo finished up his bogey back at the second. He drops to 4 under and 2 back of Els. The storyline centers around young Ernie Els with a bogey on the first hole, and Curtis Strange, who is well off here this afternoon. Strange is 2 under through 4, and now Irwin a birdie chance. Els has reached the par 4 third tee.
Even though he can hit it a long ways, he's going to leave himself quite a long shot with this iron off the tee. Good shot.
Yeah, beauty. Avoided all the trouble, and there's plenty of it, left and right on this hole. 421 yards, and of course the famous, or is it infamous, Churchview bunkers on the left-hand side. See how the fairway nips in at the end of the left-hand bunker there. And then this, those bunkers front right, short front right. Well, I don't think many of these lads are going to be in there unless they miscue off the tee. Here's Nobilo.
That's just a terrible shot. That's over in the bunkers to the left.
He's in there in the line of that extraordinary bunker on the left-hand side.
Curtis Strange with a chance for his 3rd consecutive birdie and a share of the lead.
I would think he would be the bookie's favourite now. The only thing against him is it's a long time really since he's been in this position to challenge at this level, and his nerves may get a bit raw towards the end of the round, but we'll have to wait and see.
Peter, let's go down and take a look at Nablo's ball down here in Churchview bunker. Nasty looking stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, well, if he's tucked up under the lip there, it may be, well, try to get it out, just get it out onto the fairway. He's got to just not do anything sort of excessively stupid now. He's hit a couple of poor shots, a second shot at the last hole, which cost him a shot. Tom Watson, 3rd shot at the 4th.
Very long shot here, 235 yards. Had a miserable lie in the bunker. Good looking shot here, though.
And again, it's racing to the back. away from the hole.
Well, as you can see, Frank Nobilo has escaped his nasty-looking spot. All he could do was chip it back, as Peter suggested, onto the fairway, and now this is his third.
He just blasted it out sideways, Brent. He has 185 yards to the hole into a slight breeze.
Well, we want to show you the second shot on tape. Interesting note here that in 1992, he discovered his right leg was a quarter of an inch shorter than his left. He wore a block to raise that heel for a while, but only made the problem worse and was soon discarded. So Frank Nobilo, and you could see that he was off balance and one leg up above the other one. And here's Els with his second shot on the par 4 third.
Els is 175 to the hole.
You saw there, it just landed and stopped dead. About 1 million miles from the hole. He needs 2 or 3 holes now just to settle. We mustn't forget he's not 25 years of age until the end of the year.
Greg Norman at the 6th, the par 3 for a birdie.
One under so far today, 3 under for the championship, 3 behind the joint leaders, Els and Strange.
Long birdie putt here for Watson for
35 feet across the back of this green.
Isn't it a funny game? He's the same man with the same ball, probably the same putter that we saw miss the putt earlier and struggling, and suddenly, what were his thoughts there? I hope I can get down it too. Strikes it well, disappears, and the years roll away. It is a strange game.
And here's the hot hand, Curtis Strange.
207 yards into a little breeze with a 5-iron. Green slopes big from right to left, and it's extremely hard. That ball's left and short. Not too bad from there. Just stayed out of the bunker. That would have been dangerous there.
Irwin drove it into trouble in the par 4 5th. Then he had to punch it out. This is his 3rd shot on the par 4 5th.
That's from inside of 90 yards. The rough really took its toll off the tee.
Oh, come on. How does it stop? You play and go forward. Not gonna stop.
Strange deadlocked with Els. Els and Nobilo in that last group combined are 2 over par. Both are struggling. Norman with 1 birdie so far today. Jim McGovern, just a fabulous round here this afternoon. Worked his way all the way down to even par. One time during the front 9 he was 3 under. Jack Nicklaus, when he completes his final round, will join us here in the broadcast booth. Nobilo, this for par.
He really is creaking and groaning at the moment. He started off with a nice 4 at the first, then mishit, misjudged, whatever is second to the second, and it's all just falling apart. He really has to take a few deep breaths and get back in it.
Watson on the 5th tee after that wonderful putt.
With an iron again.
Oh, just changed his
U.S. Open. What a four that was. Peter, we see lots of irons on the tees today, don't we?
I was looking at the clubs Ernie Els played yesterday, and apart from the par fives, the longest club he had was about a 6-iron. Quite extraordinary. Here is the big fella. Just a little chip from the edge of the green. He may just do one of those funny little bladey shots, or he may just lob it in the air and let it ease its way down. Yeah. Nice little shot. Neatly done. Needs a couple of pars now just to keep steady. Saying he's not 25 until the end of the year, and it's very hard to pack all that experience and knowledge into just a few years. He's only been a pro not yet 5 years, and there's an awful lot to learn and understand.
Couples 2 over for the day in the par 3/8.
Yeah, you can see it pitch short, skipped on, and it's going well to the back of the green.
Third from Montgomery at the par 4 fifth.
Hardly touched it. That was neatly done, wasn't it? Putted off the top of, almost like cutting off the top of a scrubbing brush.
I want to report that Els just tapped in for his par and a double bogey for Nablo on that hole. And that par from Montgomery remains 1 back of Strange and Els, one of our co-leaders, and here's his second shot on the par 3.
Curtis was very lucky not to go into the long rough. He has a very good lie here. 8-iron, choking down, pitching, running it just like a putt, and let the ball break down towards the left, and wants to keep it below the hole. Greens are really getting fast today.
So following his round with Ernie Els yesterday, Frank Hannigan had a chance to speak with Curtis.
Heat and humidity bother you at all, or is it just like home?
Well, it's just like home. I don't think you ever get used to it, but, you know, we feel like we're in relatively good shape, and sometimes you got to stand up and just be a man and do it. And, hey, it's the U.S. Open. I mean, it doesn't bother you. You're playing for the biggest trophy in the world, as far as I'm concerned, and you sweat a little bit, that's the price you have to pay.
Well, here's Ernie Els at the 4th tee. 1 over for the day, and Curtis Strange 3 under.
This hole playing very short today. More wind today, although it's still only blowing 5-6 miles an hour, but it's directly behind the players.
He's found the fairway, and that's very important with his power on a hole of this length. He can reach with an iron, I guess, from there. If he can get a 4 and a birdie, that's just what he needs. And certainly Frank Nobilo needs a birdie.
Yes, Peter, he's 3 over already for the day, and has slipped to 2 under for the championship. Curtis Strange is to save par on the 6th and remain tied with Els.
I don't think you're going to see too many birdies today on number 6. This is an extremely difficult hole location up on the high side. Curtis will be happy to save this par.
Yeah!
which he does, and remains tied with Ernie Els for the lead in the U.S. Open. Second shot at the 7th for Greg Norman. There have been but 4 birdies here today to go with 11 bogeys. This hole is playing as the 7th most difficult, and while we wait, let's go to Watson's second at the 5th.
138 yards downhill, but into the wind.
Shot. He right. Go in.
Back to Norman. This hole playing over par today, so this is a touchy shot for Greg.
You see, that was a lovely second shot. He didn't get the bite. Look, it's nested almost like in a bird's nest.
Now we go out to the par 4 5th. Watson for birdie. Peter, how big was it when Ireland beat Italy in the World Cup? 1-0 yesterday.
Yeah, that was a bit of David and Goliath, wasn't it? That was a wonderful achievement. Absolutely wonderful.
Now, second shot for Nablo. Needs something to steady his game.
Has 252, but downwind and downhill.
Right. That was a nice kick. Well, it's about time he had a change of fortune.
Montgomery on the 16th, 1 back.
207 today, but doesn't seem to be playing nearly that long. This is a 5-iron. Beautiful shot. A little cut should land up to the high side of the hole.
A sweet shot. Now you see it gets on the wrong slope, but it moves further away from the hole.
Well, Norman has found this by his 3rd shot at the par 4 7th in the rough.
He just bobs up the clever face. Don't deserve really to struggle as hard as he is obviously struggling here to make a par after hitting 2 good shots as he did.
Second shot for Els on the par 5.
Maybe a little bit better. Oh, that's popped out. That doesn't look too bad, Brent, there. He's not all that far from it. It'll still be tricky to get down to 2. You notice how the flag's beginning to wave? That's the first time pretty well this week we've seen any real movement in the air.
Now Norman, after an unlucky break, trying to salvage his par back at the 7th. Just breaking away.
Another half ounce of pace, and that was in. He's back to level. 2 under for the championship.
And Montgomery this to move him into a tie.
Well struck. Too high.
So it is Colin Montgomery, 1 behind Curtis Strange and Ernie Els. We bring in Steve Melnick, and Steve, it has been a treat watching Curtis Strange get started here at the final round.
Well, it is no surprise, Brent, with a man who has won 2 United States Open championships can handle not only the heat of a major championship, but more importantly, the heat of a final round. As Curtis has moved to the top of the leaderboard, tied with our 54-hole leader, Ernie Els. Colin Montgomery, many of whom thought might have a tough time playing today, is just 1 back. Hale Irwin struggling. Other players making a big move today. Now back at it, 6, Tom Watson.
5-iron for Watson. Very high shot. Needs a good kick to the left.
Well, he is now faced with a very difficult up and down. Number 7, Curtis Strange's second shot.
Well, he pushed his tee shot, which is sort of a menace for Curtis when he's under pressure. He hangs it to the right a lot. He has 192 to the hole. But what he's going to try to do here is take an 8-iron out of the rough. He has a pretty good line, just get it to the front of the green. Keeping it left. He wants to stay out of that bunker on the right. I want to tell you, that's a good-looking shot from there.
That's got to get down.
That's all right.
That's a big 8-iron.
The man who fashioned the 64 yesterday, Loren Roberts, set to play at 6. Perhaps all the attention focused on the marquee players and Mr. Roberts hanging tough at 4 under, just 2 out of the lead. L's for birdie. So that gets him back on track after that somewhat controversial start. L's moves back to 7 under par. Frank Nobilo, prior to L's putt, had this putt for eagle. Got a very nice bounce with that second shot, so that will certainly help as they make their way to the short par 4 5th. So nice on these old courses that the tee boxes are directly adjacent to the greens. As we wait for these players to tee off on the 5th, take a look at the entire field of qualifiers at this 94th Open Championship. Oakmont hosting the Open for the 7th time. Baltusrol, the only other club to have hosted 7 Opens. Oakmont has now hosted 15 major championships in all. What a terrific test it is. See the plus figures there? Well, keep in mind, when the Open was held here in 1983, there were only 4 scores that broke par for 72 holes. Springer broke through with his first win this year on the PGA Tour. Tom Lehman with that wonderful performance at the Memorial. Phil Mickelson back after that injury. Good playing by Scott Verplank. There's a lot at stake for those who perhaps cannot win. There's the top 15, which gets players back into the Open next year, and the top 16 gets players into the Masters. And a little later in the broadcast, our Jack Nicklaus will join us to give us his viewpoint of what the players will see this afternoon. Scott Hope, always a good Open record. I see Seve back playing well. David Edwards leads the tour in driving accuracy. Fred Couples always dangerous. Good play by Clark Dennis. And John Cook hanging tough at 3 under par. Norman trying to get something going here. Curtis Strange doing what many thought he might do. Tom Watson with that long birdie at 4. Ernie Els moves back to 7 under par with his birdie at the 4th. Els now tee shot at 5.
Shot. Beautiful shot up the left-hand side, cutting. Can't lay it down any better than that.
Yesterday, Els was absolutely flawless going out in 30. Now Watson's second shot at 6.
I don't think there's any way he can stop this ball short of the hole.
And Mark, the further you hit it to the right, the more it's going to make its way down the slope. So you try to slide the wedge under it. This green is more tilted than it is sloped from right to left. Curtis Strange now his third here at 7.
Very slippery pitch shot. Gotta get the ball first. Don't catch the grass. Nicely done.
Greg Norman now at the 8th today, playing 248 yards, slightly downwind.
Hook, baby. Come back. Hook, baby. Come back.
Well, wide of the mark, but certainly not a difficult up and down from there. Now Tom Watson looking over this putt for par, 6.
I really think Tom resigned himself to having a 10-footer or 12-footer for par when he played the second shot. The way he did it, he could have taken a chance and tried to drop it up in the rough on the right-hand part of the green. But if he'd stayed up there, he'd have been staring double bogey in the face. Now he's got a good chance for par.
Now back over at 7, Curtis Strange with a short putt for par. Curtis is in great position. While there are some players in the field who might beat themselves, Curtis is simply not one up there. He will just hang tough till the end. He outlasted the field at Oak Hill and beat 6 contenders to win by a shot. Second shot now for Els at 5.
Ernie has 130 yards to the hole. Flagstick cut just 8 yards on the green in the front. I think this is just a nice smooth 9-iron. Anything landing up to the right of the hole should come right down to the hole.
Famous one-hand finish. Nicely. Now over at 8, Greg Norman was wide of the green to the right. Left is as long as pitch. The rough began the week about 5 inches long around these greens. What they call the primary rough. We suspect it has grown some in the last 5 or 6 days. And you see what it does as it wraps its way around the golf ball. You can't get a clean hit on it. Now Montgomery from the middle of the fairway at 7.
A very stiff breeze in his back one of the few times this week. 183 yards, I think he could hit it with a 7-iron.
While we were away, Greg Norman to save par 8. Well, if you're playing this hole back home, it would probably be a short par 4, and I think it's what players wish it were today. Nobilo for birdie at 5. Just as quickly as we think he shot himself out of this tournament, 2 consecutive birdies have put him right back in it. He moves to 4 under. Montgomery for birdie. You're at 7.
He would seem to be almost a half a putt short of the hole, but it's putting straight up the hill.
Monty, as he is known, led the European Order of Merit last year, and for good reason. Now Curtis here at 8 is tee shot.
Hole playing 248. Curtis with a 2-iron, downwind, a little bit downhill.
One time.
Boy, really caught it solid. Ball drifting just to the left.
Jerry's caught the bunker.
Well, but that's not a tough shot for Curtis Strange. He's an excellent bunker player. I expect him to make that one a 3 also.
Now L's at it 6. He missed, L's that is, missed his putt for birdie at 5 and now hit the tee at 6.
Hole playing into the wind today. The flagstick cut in the back a little longer than it has been. As Judy said, this is the first trace of wind we've had all week. Well, it's a pretty looking shot here. Beautifully played.
Hitting the ball high, Rossi does have his advantages. And before L's played, Mr. Nobilo played, coming off those consecutive birdies. Left it in an absolutely ideal position from which to putt it birdie. Now Curtis, bunker shot here at 8.
Remembering Curtis winning the Opens in 88 and 89, he was faced with a lot of bunker shots in those 2 championships. This is a difficult bunker shot now. He's a little bit shorter than I thought. Has some 20 yards to the hole. Plenty of green to work with, though. Good lie. Got it a little clean.
Ball came out very quickly here as we got a Lauren Roberts at 7.
That's why I've seen in the rough all week long here. Sitting on a little patch of dried out grass, and you never would have been able to advance it to the green if it had been in the deep stuff.
Tom Watson next.
Tom hit a huge drive. He's only got 144. Roberts had 212. That's how much further Watson hit it. Again, the breeze right at the player's back here for the second shot at 7.
Tough pin, Mark.
It is. He needs to land it short of the hole because it'll definitely release even coming out of the fairway.
Get out. Get out.
We'll be back with more from the 94th U.S. Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC station. While we were away, this was Curtis Strange bid for par after that marginal bunker shot. What a roll. So the first bogey of the day for our 2-time Open champion. So he'll move back to 5 under par. Now back at 6. L's for birdie. Well, we at ABC, well, we'll come back to that in a second as we go to 8, and Montgomery waits to hit his tee shot here at 8.
Well, just getting himself ready to play this long shot to the green, 248 yards to the hole, 234 to the front edge. This is a 2-iron. And he's hit it left to right toward the center of the green.
Judy, does he ever hook it?
Rarely. I would say he hooks the ball only if he has to.
It is a fade that borders on a mile slice. Now Nobilo for birdie at 6. Man who could play Jean Valjean in Les Miserables. What a great face. Now it's 7. Watson for par.
After a not very good chip shot out of a short rough. He's got about 9 feet here.
That's a big putt there.
During Watson's second round, he had 35 putts. Yesterday, he came back and fashioned some of that Watson glory of old on the greens, and he used it then again as Watson makes a great save for par at 7. But the 24-year-old South African remains atop the leaderboard at 7 under par, just as he began the day as the 54-year-old leader. Colin Montgomery at 6 under par, just 1 stroke back. Greg Norman, we thought he might make a move today. Thus far, he's 1 over through 8 holes. Speaking of Norman, his second shot at 9. It's a short, reachable, uphill par 5. It is almost impossible to put your second shot close to this flagstick tucked just 6 paces behind the bunker. Now Strange, his tee shot at 9.
Down the left-hand side, needs a right-hand bounce. Really a big tee shot for Curtis. Drove it through the corner of the fairway. Bit unlucky there.
Well, Jerry, we can just see the top of the ball nestled in that deep primary rough. At best, he could run it to the front of the green. Owen Roberts hanging in there at even par.
He's made 3 putts this length already to save pars in the first 6 holes. Took a real long look at this one. Obviously a tough putt to read.
Well, Marquis is not just a good putter, he's borderline great putter. He is terrific from inside 10 feet. That's been the difference in Owen Roberts this year when he's won his first event on the PGA Tour, perhaps 4 or 5 years ago. He's converting the putts. He believes in himself. Taylor, moments ago, tee shot at 8.
Took a long time to decide here between the 2-iron and the 4-wood, and went with the wood. Hit it right toward the hole.
Really an in-between shot for Hale Judy. Maybe he could have bounced the long iron into the front of the green. Now beheaded 10, Couples with his third shot. In trouble off the tee, played his second short. If you want to see a difficult shot, watch this. This is absolute brilliance by Couples. You could stand there all day with your shag bag and not hit it that well again. Well, Greg Norman is either at the back of the 9th green or the front of the putting green, as it were, as the clubhouse side of this green is certainly part of the putting green. And now Norman's on top of this little plateau. Flagstick at this lower shelf. Big swing in this putt from right to left. Watch it just do a U-turn. And you wonder why 279 is the lowest score ever shot here. Well, as we mentioning earlier, the back of this green, this area in here is really the putting green. Now, Frank Hannigan, if your ball comes to rest in one of the practice cups, what's the ruling?
Well, any hole made is a hole made by a greenkeeper, and therefore you're entitled to relief. It automatically becomes ground under repair.
Here and here and here and here.
More important question is intervention. What happens if your ball is behind a hole? Now, since it's ground under repair, on a putting green, you get what amounts to line of sight relief. You get to pick it up and place it at the nearest point that avoids such intervention no nearer the hole.
One of the many vagaries special here at Oakmont, and now Colin Montgomery has this long putt for birdie that could move him into a tie with Mr. Els.
It is a long putt, kind of into the hill, although it looks pretty flat, and it's going to make a big move from right to left.
Early in his career, he was given to temper tantrums. In fact, it was just not a question of if, but a question of when it might occur. But with maturity and good play, a certain amount of maturity has accompanied him to the top of the European Order of Merit. Without the par fives this week, Montgomery might not be contending as he struggled on the 3s and 4s, but that shouldn't come as any surprise, as 9, 12, 4 here, very birdieable. Now, Els. Second shot.
190 yards downwind. That was a 7-iron. Well, that's a horrendous kick off that downslope. That's a little unlucky there.
So Els, certainly no stranger to major championships. In fact, in the last 5 major championships he's played in, he has 4 top 10 finishes. Montgomery tapped in for his par at 8. We began the day with 15 players under par, and they're dropping out one by one. That's Irwin for par. So a nice save for Hale here at 8. Very happy to walk away with par. Nobilo, second shot at 7.
Nobilo from 175 with an 8-iron. Well, that's a pretty looking shot. This green's just like a brick right now.
Well, earlier today we happened to watch the stimp reading being taken here at 18, and while they might not admit it, we think the stimp reading is over 12 today. Warren Roberts, tee shot at 8.
248 yards. Little wind at his back because it's a 4-wood. Needs to gear down just a little on it, I think.
Good swing there, Rob.
And if the stimp meter weren't fast enough, they're double rolling the greens in the morning and double cutting them this morning. That's like shaving at 9 a.m. after you shaved at 8 a.m. Norman for birdie. Got a frustrating par, a chance for Norman to make birdie here. So we go back to Tom Watson, tee shot at 8.
Looks like a 2-iron to me.
Come on back.
Isn't it nice to see the ground come into play? The players bounce the ball in. It's not like regular tour events where they just fire it at the flagstick, the ball stops. Have to bounce it in. There you see the 8 hard against the Pennsylvania Turnpike. As we move up to 9 and Curtis Strange's second shot.
Curtis couldn't believe it when his ball bounced in the rough. He did get lucky. Has a great lie with a 7-iron from 190 to the front, trying to bring it out of there hot and bounce it on the green. Like that. Hole only 8 paces on the front today. Very difficult pin placement here on number 9.
He will be faced with an impossible 2-putt. Els, third at 7. Well, the young South African has certainly taken notice that he's someone to be contended with, and Frank Hannigan talked to him.
The South African political changes. It was very difficult for there to be any kind of international golf there. Are you optimistic now about the future?
Oh yes, for a long time now. It's been going great for us down there. It's even going much better now, especially through all the changes we've gone. So there's a lot of talent down in South Africa, which is just about to come through now. I think all the doors are open for us now, so you'll see a lot of talent coming through in the next couple of years.
Well, as we see Els at the top of the leaderboard, I must say that there are some of us here at ABC who are not totally comfortable with the controversy that took place on the first hole today as young Mr. Els received relief. We invited David Eager, the Senior Director of Rules and Competitions of the USGA, to come in here and speak with our Frank Hannigan about the drop which he received at the first hole, and Mr. Eager declined comment. So Frank Hannigan, your position on this ruling?
Well, Steve, the whole incident turns totally on the definition of whether a temporary obstruction is movable or immovable. And the apparatus in this case is a forklift vehicle on which we at ABC put up a special camera mount. Now, these things are forklifts, and they are, in fact, movable. That's determined by a complicated process long in advance called a survey. It's there to be moved. Now, if it is immovable, as the referee determined, Els then was entitled to what we call line of sight relief. That enabled him to drop from very heavy rough on the left over into a well-trodden spectator area. It's a totally correct ruling if the obstruction was not movable. But if it's movable, he would have had a much harder second shot. And in fact, it is a movable obstruction. As a matter of fact, it's been moved since then.
To pick up play at the par 5 ninth, the adjacent hole to the first. Meanwhile, up ahead, it's steady Loren Roberts, still even par.
It's been a little bit of a patchy round for Loren, Steve. He's missed a number of greens, chipped the ball 3 or 4 times already in the round, made a bunch of good par-saving putts. But if you can just hang close coming to those last 4 or 5 holes, you never know. Look at this!
All the attention focused to the foreign players of note. Strange, Irwin Watson garnering the attention of the American players. Who slips in there to 5 under par? But Loren Roberts. Now at 9, Colin Montgomery.
Colin is a good driver, and this is another perfect drive, right down the left side, cutting.
Judy, pick up on that statement. Last year in Europe, he had an amazing 87% of his fairways. That's an incredible number. Now Watson at 8.
Tom's got a good 38, 40 feet here maybe. Made a big putt back there at 7 to save par. Just sort of hanging on to his round right now. 1 over for the day. Never gave that one much of a hit.
Up ahead at 9. It's Curtis Strange with an almost impossible 2-putt. It breaks to the right, goes flat, breaks back to the left.
I would say it's like the Continental Divide he's putting down, Steve, extremely fast. That ball is hit way too hard.
Now Watson for a save.
This is not his favorite length. He's almost better from 6 or 7 feet than he is 4 sometimes.
Well, he said when he puts well, he employs the rhythm method. It certainly gives new meaning to the term. Well, during the great round in 73, when Miller shot his 63, the 8th was the only bogey he made, and 248 yards, you can see how players may have a tough time with it. Final group of the day on the 8th tee. Not a lot of movement at the top, at least. L7 under. Nobilo fell well back the leaderboard.
It's Nobilo with a 2-iron. Breeze right behind the players. Not much, but it will affect the ball. Good shot, though. Good safe shot.
Top course getting baked out, Rossi?
Yes, the greens are getting brown. They're coming right behind the players and watering them because they feel like they're very close to going.
Some wilt, perhaps?
Quite a bit, Steve, yes. Ernie with a 3-iron, very long with his irons. Hits the ball so high in the air. Anything, especially downwind, he is really long. You know, it's hard to compare Ernie's game to anybody that I've seen lately. He's such a big man, and he has such a long, flowing swing. Well, what a beautiful shot this is.
Well, Rossi talked about a long flowing swing of Ernie Els. Let's take a look at it here. He has a most unusual position. He gets the club kind of pointing left of the target line at the top, and that's the only glitch that I can see in his swing. Great setup, has a beautiful extension away. Like a number of players, keeps both feet on the ground. See the club point a little left of the target line there? Club square at the top, drops it down from the inside. Great extension through the ball. That's why he hits the ball so straight. The longer you keep the club going down the target line, the straighter the ball will go. And to be that flexible and limber that you can have that follow through and finish. Now, Strange trying to salvage a 2-putt here at 9. While we were away, Colin Montgomery had this second shot at the par 5 9th.
Hit a high 5-iron, 193 yards to the hole.
Actually took the bunker out of play. Now Roberts, tee shot at 9.
Very important hole to drive the ball in the fairway here. And he's done just that, right up the left-hand side. Good angle.
Tom Watson next to play.
Coming into this round, he was the second most accurate driver in the tournament, but has not driven the ball well today.
The left gable, that's your aiming point here at 9. Left gable of the clubhouse.
That's right where he started it and right where he finished it.
Well, the 9th, 474 yards. In fact, throughout the history of all the major championships here at Oakmont, it has been the single easiest hole. A birdie is a must for these competitors. Great view for your second shot as you fire back into this wonderful old clubhouse. The We talked earlier, the first part of this green, the 9th, the back, the putting green, but today the flagstick in a tough spot just over that right-hand bunker. So we move over to the 10th and the hardest hole here at Oakmont, and Curtis Strange.
Curtis with a 2-iron. Got to hit the ball in the fairway here at 10. You know, he's a pant hitcher, and you better hitch him up on his backside. It's going to be tough to read the clubhouse.
He has laid it well back in this fairway. L's for birdie at 8. Now at 9 after that terrific second shot. Montgomery looking over this eagle bid.
Well, it's a long eagle bid, and I can tell you this, if the ball has any speed when it gets to the hole, it's very dangerous once it goes past.
Judy, was he too careful?
When you look at the little slope the hole is sitting on, it would make you want to be very careful.
Well, we talked about the 9th being the easiest hole, and there the rest of the. There is such a thing as an easy hole in the U.S. Open. Second at Pebble, a par 5. 18th at Baltusrol, a par 5. I think when you tee up at the U.S. Open, I'm not sure there's such a thing as an easy hole. And the pin placement here at 9, certainly a challenge to these players, as Hale Irwin has this putt for eagle. Judy?
Played a wonderful second shot in here, looked like about a 4-iron, trying to work the ball toward the hole. This hole is very hard to get close to today. Hale's putt also, as it gets to the hole and past the hole, it just drops off, but his will work more from right to left.
The harder the course, the better Hale plays. Swing foot inwardness, Medina, the site of his 3 Open championships, the only man in history to win 3 Opens. This goes up, flat, and very quickly back down. It is almost impossible, as Hale Irwin trying to become the 5th man in the history of the U.S. Open to win 4 championships. Noblo made par here at 8, and now L's. When you continue to leave yourself those 3, 4, and 5 footers on Sunday afternoon of U.S. Open, it makes for a very long round of golf. So with that bogey, Els drops back into a tie with Montgomery, Curtis Strange, and the surprise perhaps of this tournament, Loren Roberts at 5 under par, just 1 stroke back, as the players make their way across the bridge, which spans the Pennsylvania Turnpike, separates holes 1 and 2 and 8 and 9. Now back up ahead in the 9th green. Montgomery can take the lead with this putt for birdie. The look says it all.
His putter has been superb all week.
Judy, that is quite a 2-putt here. So Montgomery goes out in 33. 2 years ago at Pebble Beach, he had a great chance of winning, finished 3rd, and he knows when that putt goes in, thank you, thank you, thank you. Curtis Strange, second shot at 10.
Curtis with a 2-iron from 230. Wind picking up now. A little bit of a factor here. It's actually kicked back into Curtis's face. Hole playing straight downhill, and he needs to get a good bounce.
Just didn't keep it up high enough. I think the ball would have gotten all the way back to the flagstick if he kept it right.
Now playing with Curtis, Steve Lowry.
Steve Lowry hit a big tee shot here. Has an 8-iron from 165 yards to the front, playing downhill. Don't see many birdies here at number 10.
Hard left, baby.
Steve, he did make a nice birdie on number 9 to get it back to even par. He has been struggling with bogeys on the front 9, even after the double bogey on number 1.
Where he hit it out of bounds. As we go back to the 9th, Loren Roberts, second shot.
212 yards for Loren. Playing toward the left side of the green.
Oh, softly.
Hole high, but still a very difficult 2-putt from there. Tom Watson now with a huge tee shot. He's got 192 yards. As high as Tom hits the ball, with the wind helping him, he's one of the few players I think who could carry the bunker and stop it. I'm not sure he'll try it with 9 holes left to play. He went right at it. Boy, what a hard bounce. You could just see these greens drying out by the minute.
Should have rolled back down into a little valley there. And it will take all of his considerable skills to get down into from there.
He was over there earlier practice putting before he teed off.
Guess there's a fine line between the rule which says you cannot practice on the ground on which you're about to play a competition. Well, as the conditions get tougher, we've seen no movement at the top of the leaderboard other than perhaps a change of names. Colin Montgomery out in 33, now assumes the lead at 7 under par. Ernie Els 1 over par on his round, is just 1 stroke back. Obvious surprise of the day is Loren Roberts. 1 under par through his first 8 holes. He's just 2 out of the lead. We began the day with 15 players under par, and now we have less than 10 as these dried, baked out conditions and bright sunshine, lack of humidity firm up this golf course, and the bogey train starts for a lot of players. Whoever said par was a meaningful score, I think had Oakmont in mind. As Nobilo waits to play at 9. Meanwhile, up ahead at 10, Curtis.
Very difficult little pitch shot here. He has a pitching wedge out, going to choke down on it. Once again, put it back in your stance and just let the slope take the ball down towards the hole. Tremendous break from right to left and very, very fast. Almost have to get lucky to hit at the right speed here. Definitely don't want to leave it short. That is a definite no-no.
Nobilo, tee shot at 9.
A little unlucky there. It settled down in the last minute. Just caught the rough. Wind coming out of the right and pushing everything to the left. Out of the right and behind the players.
Well, in last year's Open at Baltusrol, Els finished tied for 7th. And you take a look at how well he has played the par 4s this week. There are 5 par 4s here at Oakmont that are in excess of 430 yards. His tee shot. Ooh, Rossi, not good.
That is not good there at all. It's hard. I don't think the players feel the wind down on the tee, Steve, but when you get up on the hill, it definitely is blowing from right to left.
Now that is a dry hazard. Now that you can barely see, that is a hazard line here. So he is actually in what is a dry hazard. It is a lateral water hazard Actually, his tee shot on the first hole was in this area here, and now his tee shot here at 9 has found that hazard, and they're actually looking in there. They don't actually see the ball. They say it's in this vicinity here. This grass, Rossi, how deep is that?
Well, it's about a foot and a half deep, I guess.
Up ahead at 11, this is Greg Norman's second shot at the short par 4. Beautiful play. Now Tom Watson, very difficult 2-putt.
This is the kind of a putt that could have broken 4 or 5 feet or as much as 15 feet.
This was moments ago, and watch this ball just fall to the left. Tom may get to it before it comes to rest. Now Lauren Roberts, his putt for Eagle.
He is putting it right straight down the line that Tom Watson's ball was on when it was turning left. That shows you how fast it is when it gets to the hole. He's right down a little swale, going to have to putt it sort of up on top of the ridge and then sort of try and throw out an anchor, have it stopped by the hole.
That's better than good. 32 years ago, this man made his debut as a U.S. Open champion winner. He needs no introduction. Jack at the 72nd hole. He'll be joining us here in the ABC booth shortly. And as always, we look forward to his comments. You exhaust the list of superlatives when you talk about his Open record. Now, Tom Watson for his birdie. He's not through yet. Now up ahead at 10, Curtis. Watch this putt, how fast it is. Stay up, stay up. So Curtis now with bogeys at 8 and 10 as Watson has this for par. Rossi, what's the problem with Els?
Well, he's got the worst lie I've ever seen. Had a little trouble finding the ball. If he gets it out of the hazard, it will be a great shot. It is sunk right down to the bottom of foot-deep rough. A lot of long, wiry grass coming up that's going to snag the club as it comes through. He's going to have a terrible time keeping the face open enough to loft it out of this hazard.
Well, it's a lateral hazard. Do you think he ought to take a drop?
Well, I think if he took a drop, he could actually get it into the little short rough. And I don't know whether he even understands. You know, at a time like this, got it out. I tell you, there is a great golf shot there. Tremendous shot. Strength helps, Steve.
And youth. Now Curtis, this for bogey. So Strange drops to 4 under par and is now 3 strokes out of the lead. Roberts, this is for birdie.
Good, Pug.
Coach Lauren Roberts is in second place in the United States Open with 9 holes to play. Back in the fairway, Nobilo set to play his second.
190, not a very good lie, but a good angle. He can't hit it to the left of that bunker. This one's really hot.
Well, that'll certainly find its way back into the putting green area. There's one of the old practice cups Frank Hannigan talked about moments ago. The next one should be fun. Greg Norman, after that terrific second shot at 11, has this for birdie. Norman simply not converting when he has the opportunity. And up ahead at 18. Nicklaus, this for par. After a great start where Jack was 3 under par for 36 holes, he struggled on the weekend, but a terrific finish nevertheless. Ernie Els, third shot at 9.
130. It's a nice 9-iron.
So Els has found the front bunker. Here at 10, it's Colin Montgomery, third shot.
Just hung the second up in this rough. If he can just land it on the green and let it trickle down the hill, it's straight on.
Ball rolling almost imperceptibly down the slope. Ernie Els at 9.
Tough little bunker shot, even though it's uphill.
Ball can roll back, and it does. Take a look below at your favorites as we move up ahead to 10. Curtis Strange, second shot at 11.
150 right out of the center of the fairway with a 7-iron. Curtis has got to go flag hunting now.
Tom Watson, his second shot at 10.
186 yards, good flat lie in the fairway.
Well, the 10th hole throughout Watson's history of major championships here, it has absolutely bitten him as he made double bogey while he had a 5-shot lead at the PGA in 78. Came here in 83 with a 3-stroke lead in the Open and made bogey.
That one's really downhill. This isn't downhill as much. Yeah.
Loren Roberts has 183 yards now. He's got very much a downhill lie.
It almost feels like the air is kind of hurting us a little too.
That's Bruce Edwards, Tom Watson's caddy, telling him that the shot was a little more into the wind than they thought. Loren Roberts does not want to leave the ball where Tom Watson did. You're really better off hitting it through this 10th green into the first cut of rough. Certainly not into the deep rough, but into the first cut. That's better than being short of the green. Probably just a 7-iron for Loren.
Get a big kick somehow.
Came out pretty soft.
Get on past the fringe.
Well, thus far it has been an interesting final round at this 94th U.S. Open, and Oakmont doing what only Oakmont can do. The cruel vagaries of this course really taking advantage of these players. Brent?
Steve, thank you very much. And Peter Alliss, Colin Montgomerie, what about his nerve? Can he do it? Can he hold up here at Oakmont?
Well, he's doing very well. He's only got to carry on for another 8 holes and stay where he is, and he'll go home with certainly pictures of that wonderful big trophy. But it's been a fascinating afternoon. It hasn't been quite as electrifying as I thought it might have been, because the weather conditions have a lot to do with that. It's very hot and sticky. But you know what can happen over the last 6 holes? A lot can bubble up yet.
Strange for a birdie.
Very fast putt. Going straight down the hill. Needs to turn to the right. Don't count this man out. Back in college, we used to call him Brutus. He was the toughest guy in the game.
Brutus is back to 2 under on the day and 5 for the championship, and L's here for par after encountering all kinds of trouble on the 9th, which has been a birdie hole today, as it has been for the entire championship, and just a little shaky on that one.
But it disappeared, and that was a very good 5. No shots wasted, really, although so many of them have got 4s, but that's all right. He's finished the first 9 holes, just 1 shot behind, tied with Lauren Roberts.
A little bit different than yesterday, Peter, when he fired that 30 on the front side.
Absolutely.
Norman's second here on the 12th.
Oh, that was a bad bounce. Perhaps he was a little too tight to the corner there, but it needed him to kick to the right, and now he's finding trouble, and he's going to struggle to get a par.
Hasn't been lucky, and Lauren Roberts was asking for a kick a moment ago and didn't get it.
Really has been an incredible championship for Lauren Roberts. At one point in the second round, when he looked up at the scoreboard, he saw a black 6 to the right of his name. He was 6 over par. Now there's a red 6. He's gotten it all the way to 6 under.
I have to tell you how tough this hole has been. The graphic tells the story.
And the reason why is just what Lauren Roberts is looking at right now. The ball's only about 5 feet off the green, but he's just going to bump it just onto the green. Once it gets rolling, who knows where it's going to stop.
Faster, ever faster, but it's slowing up a little bit, but now it's away to the right and dribbling on.
Oakmont's 10th.
Look at that.
Claims another victim.
Yep.
Strange on the 12th tee.
Taking the tee shot down the left-hand side. Needs a bounce to the right. Perfect. Big crowd following Curtis now.
This has been a tough par 5 today, Jerry. 10th hardest on the course, playing over par. 5.20 the average. Now Montgomery's second shot, leader by 1.
9-iron from 140 with the flag stick in the back of the green. A good chance to get the ball close, but he's pulled it.
Tom Watson's got almost the same putt that he had back at the 9th hole. It's about the same distance. It's going to break, oh, maybe 12, 15 feet to his left.
Some putts from there, eh? It's almost like a crazy golf on some of these holes. You get in such a position that you've just got to try and pinball machines. Greg Norman, third shot at the 12th. Just smashed at it as hard as he could. Hit and hope job, and he's in more trouble.
While we're away, Lauren Roberts, long par putt here at the 10th. And he almost made that one too. Told us yesterday he made a mile of putts. Drops a shot on the lead now. And here is the leader. Can he pick up another one? Second at 10 after escaping without losing a shot to par back at the 9th.
He took a driver here at 10 and really nailed it, Brent. He's got 140 yards to the hole. Just a little wedge.
About the average score on this hole in this championship, 4.54, and that's just for the 4th round. We've had only 3 birdies here today, 27 bogeys, and 5 double bogeys on the dangerous 10th.
Any good?
That was nipped beautifully in the green. Everything was just right there. The shot, where it landed, the amount of spin, and a bit of good fortune.
He's a cool customer. Took advantage of his break back on the 1st and saved par at 9. And Montgomery left himself with a little bit longer par putt here, Peter. I was sort of surprised by his effort. He's putted beautifully in this championship. Yeah, see, there it is, costing him, and now we could have a 2-shot swing, couldn't it?
Yep.
Yesterday, Frank Hannigan spoke with Montgomery.
What's the strength of your game?
I drive the ball pretty straight. Very rarely do I don't make bogeys from the middle of the fairway, and that's just a secret, especially around a US Open course as tough as this. You have to drive the ball in the fairway. You can't survive missing fairways, and that's what I've got to do over the weekend is keep hitting the fairways.
You've made steady progress in your profession, particularly on the home tour of the last 3 or 4 years?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I've the last 6 years in Europe, I've gone forward every year, and eventually I won the money list last year in Europe, so this isn't sort of new to me as such, leading golf tournaments, but leading the US Open is slightly different, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. I've nothing to lose right now. I'm going out not just to enjoy myself, but I came here to get into contention. That was my goal at the start of the year, to get into contention majors. I'm there now, so we'll see what happens from now on.
How did you start playing golf?
Oh, very young. I was growing up in Scotland. You don't play tennis, you know. So golf. That's all they ever say there. So it's automatic coming from Troon.
His father is a secretary at Royal Troon, as we see now. 11th tee, Lauren Roberts. He trails our leaders by 1, but L's an excellent birdie range back on the 10th.
Good looking tee shot here down the right-hand side and very long. That'll be all the way on the top of the hill.
Norman after bogey in the 12th, there he is at 13.
Good shot there, right? Be right.
He's played some good shots today. He hasn't got the full rewards that he might have done. On at least 3 or 4 occasions, he's gone right past the flag into an awkward position beyond the green.
Let's see if Curtis can pitch it close here, Peter, and give himself a birdie chance, eh?
He has 97 yards to the hole, and he just told his caddy he needs to pitch it just onto the green.
75 in front. 77,
I think so.
You can hear him there saying he wants to pitch it 77 yards. Green's going away from him. It's hard and extremely fast. Going to take one big pitch and then release a little bit with a sand wedge. Well, he's thrown that one a little farther than he wanted. It has a lot of spin on it. It'll be okay. There goes that release. That's incredible how fast these greens are.
Yeah, and drying out by the moment, too. At the 11th, second shot for Roberts. Very deliberate player, takes his time, well known on the PGA Tour, earning a lot of money without having won until earlier this year when he broke through.
Lauren's got 123 yards, hole location all the way in the back, so he needs to be a little careful about hitting it over the green.
Either way, baby.
Down. Yeah, strong shot. And before that, it was Tom Watson. We'll show you that.
You got to see the bounce that this shot takes. It's going to carry just over the front bunker.
Oh, that was horrible. That was cruel, wasn't it? Very cruel.
Yeah, let's see if Norman can birdie 13 and get back under par.
Well, he's 2 over for today. And level for the championship. 6 strokes behind the joint leaders. Lots can happen yet, I suppose. A little flurry of putts, some mistakes and some misfortunes.
Not the man today.
No. With no reason. You know, it's just one of those things that happen.
Now, the big moment will be Ernie Els with that, after that wonderful second shot across here. Here he is for birdie now.
That wasn't a bad putt, was it? That's the most difficult hole. Well, obviously the most difficult hole in US Championship golf. If he gets a 3, that's a tremendous boost to his confidence.
You kind of like the way he has hung in there. Peter, you told me that he was a mentally strong.
He's a very cool customer, you know. He doesn't seem to get too phased about things. He's a sort of simple thinker. Doesn't hurt at golf.
Always remember that. He's a simple thinker. Jim McGovern's had a good round today. He can finish in the top 15. That'd be wonderful for him. Be exempt back into the US Open next year and the Masters at Augusta. Great finish. Curtis Strange, I believe, has run out of exemptions too down at Augusta.
Didn't like that. No. He was off after it almost as the club head struck the ball.
Well, he was so unlucky, wasn't he? Now here's Els back in the lead by 1.
Oh, and this one's way right. This isn't even going to come close to the fairway.
And back in the rough.
Really can't afford to miss holes. This is 378 yards. And if you're going to play safe, you can see the bunkers on the left. Els' tee shot is about level with those bunkers. Over on the right. So if he's got any sort of a lie, he's got to carry this big bunker in front of the green. He might be able to thrash it up onto the green itself. But he's starting from a bad position.
Now this is Roberts for a birdie. Curtis made his par. Coming right back at him. Remember, he fired that brilliant 64 yesterday. Now he's 1 off the lead, tied with Montgomery. Montgomery and Roberts are at 6 under. Now blow. sort of drifted away here today.
He's gone the other side, but he's still 3 under for the championship.
And we're going to be back with more from the 94th U.S. Open after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
ABC Sports coverage of the 94th United States Open Championship continues.
Who will win the 94th U.S. Open? Will it be Ernie Els, Colin Montgomery, Lauren Roberts, Curtis Strange? They're certainly in the best shape. Or will we go to a 18-hole playoff tomorrow? Still a lot developing here. While we were away, this is Tom Watson, and this is for par. Those will bring a smile here on late Sunday afternoon. Now the third shot here, par 5, the 12th for Colin Montgomery.
180 yards, take a 6 or 7 iron. He's hit it very high, and it's getting away from him to the right.
Oh my. Let's show, Peter, let's show them exactly the bottom of that green as to why it took off here.
Well, it really did take a scoot forward. It must have, this green is very undulated and sloping away, and there you see, look, 4'6" from front to back. That's a big drop in elevation. They obviously caught a downslope somewhere, a ridge along the green. It just squirted off. It was anyway, it was spinning to the right anyway, so it was heading away from the hole, and it was just accentuated by the lie of the green.
There's Els and his problem, Rossi.
He's 155 yards to the hole, Brent, and would you believe it? He has a lie that he could hit a driver off of. He's got the most beautiful lie you've ever seen.
Luck of the draw, Rossi, eh?
Might be his day.
Got to hit the green now.
This one's got to go, I think.
It did not.
Making heavy weather of it.
Bit of a struggle for the South African, eh?
Well, he had a bit of good fortune there. He's had a few strokes of good fortune today. He said it flew on him, but it obviously didn't fly enough.
Well, let's see what Curtis can make of that now as he's reached the tee here on the par 3.
6 iron from 188. Trying to keep it below the hole. And stuck that one out to the right.
Uh-oh.
And has a bad lie on the slope of that bunker.
Yeah, that's
not good. Been a lot better if the ball had gone into the sand. He would have had an easier pitch shot.
Well, happy Father's Day to all of you who are enjoying this day.
Grand. It's my daughter's birthday. I have a daughter, Carol, whose birthday it is today. Back at Portsmouth in England.
Now, 4th shot for Montgomery at the 12th.
Well, it was straight back uphill. He could go at it, but he couldn't get the club on the ball flush.
Everyone's beginning to stumble a bit now. It's suddenly developing into a championship that somebody is going to be handed the championship trophy the way we're going. Nobody's actually grabbing it and winning it. They're all stumbling and stuttering about at the minute. Lauren Roberts looks to be perhaps the favourite.
The old Oakmont starting to take its toll. Peter, 15 players began the day under par. Now there are only 8 who are under par. And Curtis with that lie at 13.
Very awkward stance here. The ball about 1.5 feet below his feet. He's going to take a sand wedge and just try to loft it up out of this rough. But the difficultness is the big mound or undulation between Curtis and the hole. The ball could take any kind of bounce from here. Needs to hit it very high and soft. Like that. Needs to get down.
Soft.
Well, jumped on him. He caught it in the top of the club and it released the ball through the green.
Well, here's Els, his third shot.
It's a long bunker shot with an uphill lie, and I think those are one of the toughest shots in golf.
Yeah, very easy to get the club too near the ball and drive it over the green, or go in too deep and leave it way short.
Well, they'll have a go at it from there.
It's getting further away though. Look at it, still going. Still going. Look at this. This is one of the few holes here, other than the par threes, it's under 400 yards in length. He took an iron from the tee, missed the fairway, got a good break, found a good lie, misjudged, mishit. Something happened to his second shot. He might take a 5. That you cannot afford to do. You must really get your 3s at the par 3s. 4s at simple 4 holes.
Now Montgomery could lose one, huh?
No, certainly could. Could lose 2. He's not. Oh, that's not too bad. He's going to take 6 on a par 5.
And Nablo with his own problems out there at 11.
Yeah, he had a terrible lie in the left-hand rough, and the ball shot to the left. He has a very awkward stance. Tremendously difficult shot.
Well, he couldn't do much better than that. Just raced away from it.
Boy, it is getting messy out here, isn't it, folks?
Very tacky. Curtis Strange, third shot on the par 3, and he only just breathed on that one from the back of the green. Very good effort, but that's a shot wasted.
He won't be disappointed with that after that second shot.
Well, the tee shot really, Jerry, wasn't it? The missing the green as wide as that with a 6 iron.
Right, and you don't miss these greens around here and make par.
Let's swing over to the 12th where Tom Watson is. Watson, of course, playing with Lauren Roberts. This is his second.
270 yards to the front edge for Tom. Headed just right.
It's like the golf gods have decreed, Peter, that every bounce has to be a bad one.
Yes,
right now.
At the moment, it seems to be like that. Nobody's really, suddenly nobody's finding the fairways and finding the greens, which you have to do. See, this hole's nearly 600 yards in length, and if that ball of Tom Watson's had been a little bit more to the left, he might have got it on the front edge of the green. You know, that's big hitting. On a humid sort of day with the thundercloud sort of creeping up around us, he threaded his way between these bunkers, and he's just in the rough short of that right-hand bunker which just nips into the front corner of the green. But there's much can happen yet, and of course there's always the chances of a playoff, in which case it'll be 18 holes tomorrow.
Now Els, we'll see if he can salvage, and it would be some par, wouldn't it, gentlemen?
Yeah. If he holds this, you can almost start putting his name, start engraving his name, because it means that everything's with him. It must be a big swing, a big slope. Could 3-putt. Just to the hole side.
Now Roberts.
Very long third shot at 12. 217 yards. Lauren hit a terrible drive into the left-hand rough, played a real good second shot to get it to this point. And if he comes out of this hole with a 5, it's going to be a pretty good score.
Well, he found the green with his third. He's in. He's tied now for the lead.
And just how much do you think the members at Oakmont are enjoying what's happening right now? Oh, why, we come out here every day. Nothing to this golf course.
Of course we do. Of course we do. I think it's like the king's suit of clothes. Nobody's told the members how difficult it is.
Out to the 13th, and Colin Montgomery, 1 under for the day, and 1 off our lead.
He needs to hit a few straight shots now.
Has a 6-iron here. It's 188. Peter, he never should have bogeyed 11. It was his first bogey of the day. Well, that looked dangerous, but he put the ball in a perfect place off the tee at 11, and should have never bogeyed there. 12 might have been a little bit of bad luck.
Yep. Peter, you probably know the great writer Jimmy Breslin back in New York. He wrote a book about a baseball team that I'm reminded of right now. Can anybody here play this game?
Halo is now 1 over for the championship, 5 over for today.
Well, he's just kind of gone south. He made double bogey on the 5th hole there on the front 9 when he had to pitch out of the rough, and then ran into trouble on 10 and has just kind of ran out of gas. Here with a little 5-iron. And he's hit it left also.
Well, you can see both of them have been thinking of going for the flag, and both of them have missed the green on the left side in the bunker.
Quite remarkable all of a sudden.
Ernie Els now after that very bad bogey on the 11th, here at the 12th.
That's a huge drive, Brent. He can knock it home from there.
That fairway looked almost as fast as the greens.
Rusty, you know, he still has a good look about it. He's having a tough day out there today. He's still in a tie, and you just get a good feel about the youngster.
He doesn't look nervous at all to me.
Yeah. Curtis Strange now, 2 back here at the 14th.
Curtis with the 2-iron, taking it down the right-hand side, just laying it up for position. A lot of golf left between here and the clubhouse for Curtis.
He's looking to be swinging well to me, Curtis Strange. Nice rhythm.
Just needs a break or two.
Yeah,
make a putt.
Just a couple of wayward shots, but basically very much in control.
Now here on the par 5, Watson's 3rd.
Very tough shot here, sort of a runaway chip shot. Going to fall hard to his right.
Come on. Yeah, got a good kick.
Championship waiting to be grabbed, isn't it, Peter?
Absolutely. Yes, it's suddenly gone. This is the least exciting time we've had over the 3 3/4 days so far, when it's usually bubbling and people are coming and going and making mistakes and doing heroic things. Well, it's very hot and sticky. Perhaps the weather has taken its toll, or perhaps, you know, it's pretty hot and sticky. This boy's got some work on his hands here. Lauren Roberts to get down in 2. What a wonderful putt.
Yes. He is a superb putter, Peter. And that's what led to his 64 yesterday.
Well, if he keeps doing that, he'll be giving Ernst & Young a bit of work.
Yeah, they'll have to file a much larger tax return for it.
Oh, dear.
Oh, look at Colin.
Montgomery's ball at the short 13th.
Buried right in there. Hale Irwin's ball was just 6 or 8 inches in front of his. They quickly decided that Hale would go ahead and play first, so there was no marking involved. I think this is a shot or he just wants to kind of leave the club softly in the sand.
Play for a 4 unless he can get it coming backwards. He might be able to use the contour of the hill, and if this is old Fletcher's trolley, here's the stimp meter. Isn't it amazing?
This is pretty amazing.
Fletcher's
here.
trolley, look at that.
He's going to end up within 5 or 6 feet of the hole.
Well, I'm not so sure that's golf, but some obviously do.
Roberts, by the way, finished up with his par back at 12, so he's still tied with Els. Now let's watch Watson and see if he can make a birdie. He's missing.
Gets his par at the par 5 12th.
So it's Lauren with a par there, and Els both at 6 under. Now we go back to Curtis Strange, second shot on the par 4.
152 yards to the hole with an 8-iron. Big 8-iron. Needs to take one big bounce and get up on top, like that.
Great shot.
Fantastic shot. You know, that's Curtis's range there. When he can get 150 yards in, he's deadly when his swing's on. He'll put it inside 10 feet every time.
Now we leave 14 and go back to 13. And Colin Montgomerie, he has been a superb putter here throughout this championship. He's been a little shaky in a couple today, but here he needs to save one and stay one back of the leaders here.
If he ever wanted one, he wants this. Just short of speed, short of pace.
Well, Lauren Roberts, who now calls Memphis, Tennessee his home, has climbed into a tie with Ernie Els of Johannesburg, South Africa. We are back. Lauren Roberts, the co-leader here at the United States Open, with Ernie Els on the tee at the par 3.
188 yards today.
Could it be? He's playing with Tom Watson.
Tom Watson just watched that ball, and it was a perfectly played shot. You may not believe it, but the way to play it with the whole location on the left is just like Lauren Roberts did. Trying to figure out whether the wind is helping him or not. Bruce Edwards likes the 6-iron. Tom Watson not out of this championship yet. Oh, just landed a little too softly.
Birdie at 14, Curtis Strange.
Although this putt's only about 6 feet, it's not as easy as it looks. It actually looks like it could go either way. Curtis has to keep this ball in the hole, and it's extremely fast. The key here is just to make a solid stroke, hit a solid putt.
To within 1. Seeking a 3rd U.S. Open championship. Now it is Els. Par 5. Here's his second shot.
Els has 275 to the hole. This one's to the left, and that is not where you want to go today.
And into the rough up ahead, Rossi. Els has been battling, and he's deadlocked with Loren Roberts, who has pulled up alongside of him. Curtis Strange is what right there. And Steve Melnick, it's a pleasure to have Jack Nicklaus join us. Here's a man who knows all about the heat and the fire, the pressure of the next hour and a half.
Well, making his 38th consecutive appearance on the U.S. Open, it's been kind of a bittersweet tournament for you, hasn't it?
I played a good first round, Steve. I got away with a good second round, and then the rough caught up with me the last 2 rounds.
What do you think about this leaderboard and what's unfolding in this final 9 holes?
Well, you've got a golf course today that's a little bit more difficult than it has been the last couple of days. The greens are starting to get a little bit slick. It's getting tough around the cups, and you know, the guys coming down to the end have a little bit of pressure on them. It's going to those little putts are going to be tough. So, but you've got a whole bunch of guys that got a chance to win, and we've got a good one going.
All right, stay with us, Brent.
Okay, Jack, nice to have you along now. We're out at the 15th tee, and Curtis Strange.
15, a tough driving hole today, playing back into the little bit of breeze that's come up. Curtis with the driver, going to take the ball down the left-hand side and try to work it back to the right. Cut that one way too much. Dead.
Oh, what a nasty spot, eh, Jack?
Well, I tried to avoid that spot all week, but I managed to put it in enough rough. But Jerry's right. That is a very difficult spot. The rough is very heavy. What they did here this week is they planted ryegrass just off the edge of the fairway. If you just missed the fairway, you really just had to pitch down. If you missed it wide, you had a chance.
Watson for birdie at 13. Can he make this one from this spot, Jack?
Well, I imagine he can make it. We're going to have to watch it, though. That cup is really getting dry on the 13th hole, and the grass is getting dry around the cup. Loren Roberts has got a sort of almost like a glassy little putt that breaks a little bit right to left here on 13.
He has played so well the last couple of days, especially with the putter. 64 yesterday, pulled him up, gave him a chance. He's 2 under for the day. Els is 1 over. Bogeyed the first hole, and Loren Roberts can make a move from a spot that, well, Mark Rolfing told us when he looked up on a board earlier in the championship he was 6 over par. This is a 12-shot swing for Loren, and he can move into the lead here at the U.S. Open. He makes this putt.
Jack Nicklaus gave you a perfect read there. This putt is just outside the right edge of the hole. Green's getting a little brownish, but Loren has made 5 or 6 of these this length already today.
Slick little putt there, isn't it, Mark?
Really is.
But he is a little bit uphill, so he can take a run at it.
The leader. He waited a long time to win on the PGA Tour. Finally broke through for the first time earlier this year, and now he has a chance to win a United States Open. Second shot at 14 from Montgomery on its way. Third shot for Els.
Els has put it in a spot where actually this shot is impossible. I don't think he can get on the green.
Rossi, you were so right. He has been his own worst enemy, hasn't he, today?
That wasn't very good golf course management there to hit in the left-hand rough. Anything in the right-hand rough would have been all right.
And now here is our leader.
Well, the 14th hole is playing probably about a 2-iron for most of the fellas off the tee today. They want to keep the ball just in the short grass. The further you go, the narrower it gets. And the pin's sitting in the back part of the green, right behind a little ridge. You just saw Colin Montgomery hit it in behind there, and his putt's kind of a slick putt coming left to right. What you really want to do here is, if you can, is get it just to the left of the hole on your second shot. Obviously, put it in the fairway on your first shot. The pin's about 40 yards back into the green, so it's a long way back.
Lawrence played the hole well this week. He's made 2 pars and a birdie through the first 3 rounds.
Good swing.
Right down the middle.
He'll probably leave himself a little bit over 140 yards to the hole, I guess is.
The 4th for Els here at the 12th.
There was no comment had been made on that shot, but that was some golf shot he just made right there. That was a tough shot.
And what about Curtis Strange here, Jerry?
Curtis has no shot to reach the green. Very poor lie in the tall 6-inch Poana and bluegrass rough. He's going to take a 9-iron or a wedge and just try to play it out into the fairway.
Now this is the 3rd shot for Lowry, who's going to play ahead of him.
Steve Lowry from about 215 with a 2-iron and been struggling all day. 4 over today, 1 over for the tournament. That's very, very good shot there. You know, Curtis bogeys 10, birdies 11, bogeys 13, birdies 14. And if he can save par here, he'll be right in the championship. This is going to be a test for Curtis right here on 15. Smart shot.
Curtis 2 back of Roberts. Lauren 7 under right now. Montgomery 2 back, and he could pick up 1 here. And he does.
Well, 15th hole, 467 yard. New tee has been put in for the Open, but I think it's either put it in the fairway with a 3-wood or take your chances with the left to right slope with a driver. You've got those grass church pews which have been added on the right, which are a further danger. Then you've got a green that runs away from you left to right. It's most of the fellas will probably play 1 or 2 less clubs into this green and let it land on the front and just let it run back to the hole.
Now this is Els finishing up here at 12. Well, Jack, you said it. That was a wonderful 4th shot.
Oh, he had an unbelievably difficult shot with it. You couldn't see it, but he was on a bank that was very, very steep and then going back up a hill with the grain against him and sort of sitting underneath the grass. That was a real class shot.
Now on the tee at 15 is Montgomery.
Got a little greedy with that left side. He's caught trouble over there.
Third shot for Curtis.
Curtis with 87 yards needs to pitch it about 80.
He needs to try to get the ball to the right of the hole if he wants to have a good putt at it.
That needs to get up. Just laid it up a little too close to the green where he had to take something off of it, and he took too much off.
But that's not too bad a putt, Jerry. If he was up pin high into the left of it, it's a real tough putt. He's got a chance from there.
Now it's Ernie Els on the tee at 13.
Ernie with a 6-iron. Wind practically non-existent right now. It's laid down.
Hit the wrong ridge with that one, didn't he?
Now Loren Roberts has stormed into the lead here, birdieing 4 of the last 6 holes.
151 yards, second shot at 14. Wind's at his back, so he needs to land it well short of the hole.
Come on, snuggle in there.
Not over the ridge. And there it goes. Great shot.
Oh, is he playing well, Jack? Only 1 bogey today. Back at the U.S. Open, Curtis Strange, this for a par. Strange now trails Roberts by 3. And the leader with a birdie opportunity here, Jack. He's striking the ball magnificently.
Well, he's got a situation here, obviously, that he makes this, and Ernie's going to have a difficult 2-putt from where he is on 13. He makes this, we've got ourselves somebody to catch, not 4 or 5 guys sitting in the middle of a tournament.
Loren's left the ball below the hole here. He's got about 4.5, maybe 5 feet.
Couldn't have a better putt, could he, Mark?
No, I don't think so. It's pretty much the same kind of break he had on the last hole. It's a right to left putt.
Yeah, it's just about a half an inch out of the cup, if I recall. Not quite enough steam.
Now back to Els and his difficult spot here, Jack.
You can't really see it from here, but there's a little ridge, and it's a sharp ridge that he's got to hit the ball over, and then it's got to go down very quickly and break right to left. Over the ridge nicely, and actually he's got pretty nice pace on it. Very well done from there. So just the opposite looks like it's going to happen.
On the tee at 16, trailing by 3. Strange is at the par 3.
16 playing 2-2-2 today. Flagstick in a tough location. It's only 16 paces on the front right. Curtis with the 3-iron, and he's got to hit it high and soft and work it from left to right to get it close.
I don't even think you can get it close here, Jerry. I think it's the tee's up a little bit and the pin's up a little bit today, so you try to throw the ball in at the hole, it just goes right to the back of the green. I really don't know where you try to hit it, to be very honest with you.
Well, as I said earlier today, I think the key on these par 3s is to make a 3, and that is way left. Way left.
Into the bunker.
He didn't have to worry about being under the hole, I guess. He is straight down the hill. That is some tough shot left.
15, second for Montgomery.
That's a tremendously hard shot. 217 to the hole. He had a good lie. The lip wasn't a factor, but he did not hit it solid.
Tough spot. Moments ago, let's go to Tom Watson. This for par at 14. Fifteenth tee, the leader Loren Roberts.
15, one of the most difficult tee shots here at Oakmont. The wind actually has started to turn a little bit. It was in the player's face here earlier, but now it's sort of coming from Loren's right.
that's a great hit. That was the toughest tee shot he had left.
Now back to Els, and this for par. Now Montgomery back on 15 at his difficulties.
This is no bargain either with the ball in the rough below him. Very long pitch shot, 60, 70 yards.
It's been a frustrating day at the U.S. Open here in Oakmont. Well, with the iron out again, here's Ernie Els on the tee at the 14th.
Hole playing downwind right now.
Rossi, he couldn't have much more than about a 3-iron, could he?
Well, I don't think he should hit more than that, Jack. This is going a long ways, this iron right here.
It's going a long way left now.
Trickling into that rough.
Yeah, that was too far to try to hit the ball in that hole.
Montgomery missed his par, made a bogey. That was Mac on 15. So he has slipped into a tie with Strange, both at 4 under, 3 back of Roberts, our leader.
204 yards.
Not there.
Didn't want to miss it on the right.
Stayed in the grass.
Boy, that's the only thing he didn't want to do here. A lot of room on the left-hand part of this green.
Actually, it looks like he's sitting decently.
It's kind of been his day, Jack. He's hit a couple of wayward drives, one back at number 7 that had a perfect lie.
Strange for par at 16.
Well, that's a killer right there. Hit a beautiful bunker shot.
He must have hit a terrific bunker shot, Jerry.
Rolled right over the hole to that 4-foot putt, 5-foot putt, and he's getting almost too far away now.
Now Watson's third at 15.
Hit another bad drive here into the right-hand rough. Just had to pitch it out into the fairway.
Has Tom used his driver all day?
He hasn't used it as much as he did earlier in the week. I was kind of surprised he started right out at number 1 with an iron and hit it in the fairway bunker.
Well, that's been the key to his game all week.
Nablo.
That was from about 145. He laid well back. He has just faded away. He's had a tough day out here.
What kind of shot has Els got there, Rossi?
Jack, he has another real good lie. He's been very fortunate today in the rough. With the flagstick back as far as it is, I don't think he has any problem at all.
Tree's not a factor?
Well, he might have to shoot it maybe 8-10 feet to the right of the flag, Jack, but it looks like it might kind of turn up there.
Well, I don't think it's going to turn on the green if you hit it to the right of the hole, but...
well, he can't shoot it right at the flag.
Well, then he's got sort of a interesting situation here.
Roberts leads Els by 1. Here's his third at the 15th.
He does have a very good lie down here. It kind of rolled up against a little clump of grass that could cause a slight problem.
Well, he's got a little bit of green to work with, and it's uphill. So let's see what happens.
Boy, that was real close to being disastrous, and now isn't too bad.
No, he's got a pretty straight putt. About the only straight putt on the green there, Mark.
Well, the major comebacks Larry Nelson, after 36 holes, trailed by 7. Then the PGA Championship in '78, John Mahaffey 7 back going into the final 18, wanted a playoff. And of course, here in '73, Johnny Miller leapfrogged over 12 competitors. Now Loren Roberts, 9 back after 36 holes, trying to come off the pace. Silky Sullivan kind of finish here, wouldn't it? Colin Montgomery.
Hey, I didn't see how far back I was in '62. Do you guys have records on that?
You were 2 back, Jack. And you know what? We didn't consider you far enough back. We thought about it. Here's Montgomery.
Well, that's a 3-iron, and he's hit it way too straight. He needed to hit his natural left to righter.
We took a vote, Jack, and we decided that when you were only 2 back, you were the favorite. Now Els, and trailing by 1.
Sort of up and over here, Rossi.
Kind of a tough putt, I think, Jack.
Yeah, except that the ball or the cup is sitting after it gets over the ridge. It's kind of up from there. It goes down, then back up. So he, as long as he gets it with good speed over the ridge, the ball's not going to get away from him with the hole. Didn't get enough speed over the ridge.
Now Roberts, 1 hole ago he missed a birdie opportunity. Here he needs this putt to save par.
He has looked at it from all 4 angles, trying to maybe find a little break. I don't think there's much. If there is, it
How big a putt do you think this is in Loren Roberts' life here?
Well, he missed the first one of any real consequence on the last hole.
At the moment, a tie. Els still has to make his putt, let's not forget.
That opened the door he didn't want to open.
Now Nablo. This for long birdie. Well, we might as well mention it now. If there's a playoff, 10 a.m. live tomorrow. Join us on ESPN. Then at 12:30 we will switch over to ABC. Live coverage of an 18-hole playoff, if there is one, and we are tied right now. Ernie Els of South Africa. Loren Roberts grew up in California, now lives in Memphis, Tennessee. And let's see if Els can save par. That was Montgomery, 16. Here's another look here, Jack.
That's a tough shot. It's he's got a couple of little sort of humps in the green to negotiate, and he landed it just over them and then just let it roll, and that was a beautifully played shot.
On the tee at 15, one of our co-leaders, Els, who has parred this hole 3 consecutive rounds.
Since driving in the hazard at 9, he's driven beautifully. Great drive at 10, great drive at 12.
He's got driver again, Rossi.
Sure does. He's not going to hold back, Jack. He's been playing this way all day. This one looks like it might be a little left. Looked like it was going to jump out of that rough, but it didn't.
I'm not sure whether he'd been better off in the bunker there or in the rough. He carried the bunker, and that's pretty thick stuff right there. But I think that he's strong enough, and he doesn't have anything in front of him. The ball will run to the green. I think he can probably get it there from there, even if he has a bad lie.
This for par for Montgomery. The U.S. Open is about to begin. Ernie Els and Loren Roberts are tied, and we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Well, we are back, and one of our co-leaders, Loren Green, on the 16th tee of the par 3.
Certainly not thinking about this hole. Location needs to hit it at the left-hand part of the green.
Win.
Looking for a good bounce here.
That's a good, smart play there, Mark. I don't think he really had much of a chance. People have been shooting it at the hole all day long, and nobody's kept it around it. He's got a difficult putt, but he's doesn't have a whole lot of break in it. It's just fast.
Yeah, Montgomery checking the weather. There were some reports earlier today that we might be visited by some thunderstorms. So far, they have stayed out of the immediate area. Now with Montgomery at 17, Jack, of the competitors who are left, especially Roberts and Els, how about trying to reach it?
Oh, I think Els will probably try to reach it. He's gone at everything else, and he's been going at the green all week. And he certainly can put it on there. And with the pin, where the pin is today, you've got a big advantage to try and hit it that green. Look at that shot there, display.
That is a great shot. That was from 195 yards, Jack, out of a pretty tough lie.
Yeah, but he's so strong.
He's so strong, only had to carry it about 140 yards, and he just ran on up there, like you said.
Yeah, I think he's maybe one of only 2 or 3 guys in the field who can possibly play that shot.
Now Greg Norman winding up his round. This for a birdie at the finishing hole. .283. Make sure it doesn't bounce out. He had some bad bounces today, didn't he? Now Strange back at 17 needs us to save par. So it seems to be coming down more and more to just 2 competitors, although certainly 2 back. Montgomery with a chance here. Els and Roberts deadlocked at 6 under. Ernie Els, though, may have just hit one of the shots that determine this championship. We'll have to see the result of it up on the green. Now let's go up to Roberts on the 16th green.
Loren with about 45 feet here.
Putt is somewhere close, Mark.
Well, you're right, Jack. The putt is quite straight at first, and the important thing here, I think, is the wind is sort of his friend. It's right into his face, which is going to slow the putt up coming off the hill. All in all, a pretty good break to the right, though.
You'd like to have Larry Nelson putting this one for you, wouldn't you? This was it. 83.
He almost beat the ball to the hole, didn't he?
He's backed off of it 2 or 3 times, trying to find the right line and speed. He's judged him very well all day long from this length.
Do you think he's got a lot of break in that putt, Mark?
During the middle of the putt, I believe so.
Yes, sir. Nice pace.
And on the 17th, Montgomery, he is 2 back, and this is his second shot.
Well, he knows better than anyone here that a birdie is absolutely necessary. Just inside of 90 yards, the wind isn't quite as friendly for him. It's right at his back. Just a little sand wedge. Wonderful shot.
Strange is on the 18th tee.
That's a good looking swing, but I know when Curtis reflects back on this last round, these par 3s have killed him. Missed all 4 greens, bogeyed 3 of them.
Now we go back to Roberts here. This is for par 16. Watson incidentally did make the par coming out of that bunker. So we've come down to the final few holes here, and now it's will and pressure and guts and determination. Ernie Els, Lauren Roberts, 2 up on the Colin Montgomery from Scotland. It'll be Els' opportunity here.
Probably the easiest putt he could have on this green, don't you think, Jack?
I think so. I thought Roberts had a putt that wasn't very difficult, but I think Ernie's is even easier. Roberts had a little left to right, and I think Ernie's almost straight. I think the biggest problem I have here is making himself hit the ball to the hole. However, at 24, I think you get most of your putts to the hole.
Yes, with him especially. Back into the lead. While we're away, and Jack Colin Montgomery, as Judy pointed out, needing this birdie putt.
Couldn't have an easier one on that green. Oh, right in the middle.
Trails Els by 2. Now let's go back to Curtis Strange. Second shot at the 18th.
160 yards with an 8-iron. Little downwind. Curtis just looking for a strong finish here. I don't believe 4 under par is going to get it, though.
Good shot.
And here's Roberts on the 17th tee.
He's got a 2-iron and no idea what Ernie Els has done at 15. Good looking shot here, right down the center. He'll have about, maybe just over 100 yards.
Right in the center of the fairway.
Good spot up on the flat part.
Els is on the 16th tee.
Ernie Els has a 5-iron.
5-iron?
5-iron, Jack.
Okay.
He has bogeyed this hole the last 2 days.
Played a good smart shot there.
And Jack, for the first time, we can see the wind picking up just a bit now. Watson.
A little left.
Oh. How about that for an old guy, huh? Still 10 years younger than I am.
Well, on the right-hand side, that's how they fared today, and Ernie Els making the most of the battlefield out there with 3 bogeys, including a very controversial one on the first hole. 3 birdies, controversial because of a drop that he was given, and the discussion was whether or not it was a temporary movable obstruction that should have been moved back. Instead, he was dropped clear of some deep rough. He did bogey the hole anyway. Now we go up here to the closing hole. This is Lowry. Wonderful putt. That was for par. What a way. Remember, on the opening tee, if you were with us earlier today, he hit his opening tee shot out of bounds with the cameras on him. And now here he comes up and he hits this wonderful putt. And the crowd is cheering, and it's a great way to go home. And now here's
118 yards for Lauren. Wind at his back. Boy, a big first bounce, but even though it's on the collar, he'll have a good chance at 3.
This is angle that
Strange at 18 for a 3. Yes. Look at that. 4 subpar rounds, a 280.
4 sevens.
And that puts him into the Masters. Simpson for the U.S. Open. Now Els back at 16. Hale Irwin, the 18th fairway, had himself a wonderful championship here this week. Made a run at his 4th U.S. Open title, and just kind of wore down a little bit today.
You spend so much of the week in contention. When you finally see yourself fall out, it's really hard to keep grinding.
You said that correctly, Judy.
Let's see if Watson, wouldn't an eagle be nice here, eh?
Boy, he gave this one a ride. Good attempt.
Second shot now for Montgomery on the finishing hole.
Well, I sound like I'm repeating myself, but he very much needs a birdie here. 146 yards, wind at his back. Can't be more than a 9-iron.
Judy, this is a very, it didn't quite get up that hill. What a shame. I was about to say this could be a very big moment for him, because Els certainly left himself with a difficult putt back at 16. Let's first now watch Robertson, his birdie opportunity.
He's got about 12 feet here, putting from the collar. A little bit unlucky, Jack, in that I can see 3 huge spike marks about halfway between himself and the hole.
Well, they really haven't bothered the ball too much all week, Mark. I think it's he's got a little bit downhill. What is it? Go a little bit left to right?
I think it's pretty straight. If anything, it might just fall a hair left.
Oh, the other way. Okay, I can see it from here. See the spike marks about halfway, huh?
Boy, he hit it on the right edge and it stayed right there.
Yeah. Looks like he went a little right.
Now Els back for his par putt. Tied again.
Well, we're set up for Mr. L's tee shot at 17.
That's right.
That's going to probably be your golf tournament.
Yeah, first it'll be Watson here for a birdie. Third shot for Hale Earl. He'll be glad to walk away from this hole. Yesterday he was sailing along and hit his second shot and it bounced back up in there into the rough. Had to chop it down, a double bogey, and knocked back. Is not low. And Els come over to the 17th tee, and I think Jack has set the stage for you here. Ernie Els can line up at that angle and take a crack at it.
He doesn't really even have to take a big crack at it. It's just a good solid tee shot for him. He's so strong. A lot different than most of the guys. Most of the guys have to take a big hit at it. I think he can actually cut it into that green, which is really what the hole asked for.
Given the way he plays and his strength and everything, that's the percentage play for him right now, to go out after it, Jack.
Well, I don't think he has any other play. I think that back in '62, when I came to the 17th hole, I took a hit at it. I hit it in the bunker on the right. Didn't get it out close, and ended up making my third shot about 4 or 5 feet by and had to make it for a par. But that was a par that still kept me in. But I took the chance, and I think that Ernie has to take the chance. He's in exactly the same situation I am. If he makes the birdie, he's going to have command of the tournament. If he doesn't make the birdie, then he's still all right. I think he can make 4 from almost anywhere he hits it, unless he puts it in some really awful place.
Now Colin Montgomery of Scotland still with a chance.
Tough putt here, but underneath the hole, it gives it a good run. He's got the shot at it. It will hit it.
Now we go back to the 18th tee, and Lauren Roberts, one of our co-leaders.
He just heard the huge roar back here by the scoreboard as they changed Ernie Els' score. So he knows exactly where he stands. Little draw down the left-hand side, should kick back. Great tee shot here at 18.
Well, I guess that's a perfect tee shot. I tell you, I'm getting excited about watch Els hit this tee shot at 17. This is some big shot. I imagine there's a few million other people that are interested in this shot too, don't you?
I think so, Jack.
What you've got here is a series of bunkers that are on the left side, and he has to carry it, probably 285 to get over the bunkers, and then it can run right on into the green. And you don't want to miss it right here. Cut. He's hit it.
That ball hit somebody over there, jumped a mile in the air. Now, I think that there's a lot of trees over there. Now, as to whether he's going to get relief from the grandstand, I'm going to have to go over and look.
I think he's going to probably get relief from the grandstand, Rossi, but he's still going to have to pitch it from under the tree off trampled ground that the people have been walking on. He's got the best angle to the hole, even though he's left, but it's a tough shot.
And so Montgomery up here on the 18th wants to make sure that he's in at 5 under. Still to the come. And Colin will not be running to the airport to go to Glasgow, not quite yet, will he?
ABC Sports coverage of the 94th United States Open Championship continues.
Well, Rossi, what's the situation with Els?
Well, this is something I haven't seen much of. He's going to get to drop this ball about 15 yards closer to the hole in a ball drop. Now, not only does he get to come closer to the hole, it takes the trees completely out of play. He would have had to play a low shot underneath the trees. Now he puts it in the ball drop, and he's got the easiest pitch you've ever seen.
Well, that's not right, is it?
I don't think so, Jack. I don't believe in this. I think this is wrong.
I don't think you should be advancing the ball.
No, I think if the ball was in the bleachers, then he can put it in the ball drop, but not where it's away from the bleachers.
Rossi, we're going to come right back, but let us watch here on tape. Just moments ago, this is Loren Roberts' second shot, tied with Els.
He had 158 yards up the hill.
Look out.
Took the hard bounce. Not too bad, though. Took it just down the down slope there.
Now let's go back to Els.
What, Frank Hannigan? What's happened here?
The USGA, for better or worse, established a condition prior to the champions that said that if you were entitled to relief under the temporary immovable obstruction rule with this grandstand, you could drop it in the ball drop to the left of the hole. In other words, they're not making this up on an ad hoc basis on the spot.
But even advancing the ball.
Even advancing the ball.
That means anywhere left of the green, you're really almost going to advance it to that spot. Well, it's the same for everybody.
He has the whole length of the green.
Yeah, well, I said, Rossi, back there that I thought he had the best angle to get into the green if he had a shot.
Absolutely. He's going up the hill. It's coming out of the rough. It's going to run nice for him.
2 big breaks today. He'll try to make the most of it.
Pretty good shot there.
Now we go back to Loren Roberts.
What's he got here, Mark?
His ball has gone just into the first cut of rough, Jack. It's a pretty good lie. He was hoping to watch Tom Watson, who played out of the thick rough, get his ball down over the hill so he could see just what it was going to do at the hole, but Tom left it up on top.
He doesn't really have any humps to go over, does he?
No, he really doesn't. It's downhill.
Breaks a little right to left and fairly quick, right?
I think his biggest problem right now is all the cheers in the gallery, a little patriotism, a lot of Go USA right now. He's played a couple of these shots today, likes to use like an 8 or 9 iron. Won't carry it very far onto the green. This club looks pretty lofted though. I don't think it's as good now as he thought it was going to be. Looked like it was going to stop by the hole, and he's got a good 4.5 feet.
Didn't break much left for him, did it?
No, it really didn't. He's got it underneath the hole now, though, so just the kind of putt he wanted if he had to have one of that length.
Well, there's our situation. Jack, I was just reminded that back in 1962, Phil Rogers took an 8 back at 17, hitting his tee shot into those trees. That denied him an opportunity to go into the playoff with you. Did they not have that drop area there? In,
I don't think there were any bleachers then, Brett. I think that's exactly right. They had 5 or 6 little spruce trees of some kind, and Phil's ball got hung up into it and tried to play it out of it. He made 8, and really, I don't know what he lost by, but 2 or 3 shots behind us, lost by 2 shots, and it really cost him having a chance to win the championship.
Well, now Ernie Els will attempt to make the most of this break.
Well, the game of golf is a game of breaks, and good and bad, and he's got a good one here. Let's see if he can take advantage of it. Uphill and slightly left to right. Ball went the other way. Good gracious.
Roberts to stay tied.
I think we'd have both missed those.
Rossi, does Ernie Els know what has transpired up on the 18th with Loren Roberts bogeying and falling out of the lead?
Not as yet. They have not put it up on the scoreboard as yet. I think they probably will before he drives.
Now this is for bogey for Tom. Comes to the 18th tee. This is the scoreboard that he will see, and there you tell Roberts is down a shot.
All of a sudden, Colin Montgomery has a chance.
Oh, yes.
You've got 2 of them tied.
Montgomery and Roberts are 1 back, and
to be 24 years old and the strength he has, and be able to take those bunkers out of play with a tee shot, Rossi.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if he does take the driver, Jack. I think he will. He has taken it all day.
Yeah, I think so. He could take the bunkers on the left out of play, and I don't know whether he can take the right ones out of play on carry or not, but even if he does hit it in the rough, I think he's strong enough to get it up around the green.
It's a big pull. Huge pull.
I think it could be clear over to the next tee ground over there. Well, we are back at one of the weirdest U.S. Opens we can remember. And Bob Rosberg, what's going on now with our leader, Ernie Els?
Well, this is one he's going to have to play from where it lays. It's sitting very well, though. That's the funny thing about it. He's got a nice lie. It's just off the front edge of a tee off 15 tee here, and it's not very tall, but he has a very difficult shot. He's going to have to play some kind of low hook and to carry it over the rough up in front of the green and stop it anywhere near the green takes a lot of skill. He's got about 140 yards to the hole.
Well, he took most of it out of play except for the last tree, didn't he?
That's right.
Well, let me again back up and give you our storyline here. Short time ago, Loren Roberts bogeyed the 18th to slide back to 5 under par. Now, Colin Montgomery was inside in his card and thinking about going to Glasgow, and somebody said, you better hold on here, big fella. So Colin Montgomery is not going anyplace. He's going to stay right here. Who knows? He may be in a playoff, teeing it up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's Frank Noblo, New Zealand, finishing up here. Our leader there with his back to you. Ernie Els, 24 years old, out of South Africa. Roberts signed in his card, waiting, and Montgomery is right here. We'll be speaking with him in a short time. Last time he was in our booth, Jack Nicklaus reminded him that he might have a chance to win a U.S. Open out at Pebble Beach.
Colin finished early out there, and I told him, I said, Colin, you may just have won yourself a U.S. Open. And Tom Kite and Jeff Lubin played just fantastic golf after that, keeping him winning.
Jack, if he puts his ball in the right-hand bunker, how tough is it from there?
Well, I don't think the right-hand bunker is any bargain, Rossi, but it is under the hole.
Well, he is coming out to the right. I don't think he's going to fool with it at all. I think he's just going to play out short of the green, be sure to make 5 and hope to make 4.
Well, that's not a dumb play. I remember when I played Arnold in the playoff here in '62. I drove it into the left foot. And I just pitched it out exactly where he pitched it out and played from there.
He has put it on the right edge of the fairway, has to pitch over the bunker, he has a shot of about 95 or 100 yards.
Right there in the divot, Jack?
That is not good.
That is unbelievable. You know, there haven't been a whole lot of balls in this spot, Jack. This must be from an amateur a couple weeks ago.
Well, he had one of Ernie's drives earlier this week.
And it is a sandy divot. It is not a good lie at all.
Rossi gets it to court, doesn't he? Let's go to Frank who's with Colin, right?
Yeah, the greens have got very, very hard this last 2 or 3 hours, and incredible par on any hole was a very good score. And that's why they wedged at the last there, thinking it would just take one hop and stop, but it unfortunately didn't. But you saw Loren Roberts' ball go through there. You know, most difficult. But I was glad I was below the hole. I just tried to do that most of the week. But it's becoming very, very difficult indeed.
Well, you were down at the end of the last hole, even though you were a couple of shots behind. Did it occur to you might get back into it yet?
My par on 16 was vital. I played a very good chip there. That was awful quick down there and a good putt because it was about 2 inches outside where I better hit it. And my birdie on 17 was a good effort. And you know, I just made sure I hit the fairway at last, which I haven't driven the ball that well this week actually, but my chipping around the short game was very good.
Stay with us, try to match you.
Sure.
If he gets the ball solidly here, Rossi, he's really subject to the first knob and the flatness and the hollow and all kinds of bounces. He can't throw the ball softly from that kind of lie. He's going to have to pinch it.
He is, and I think he might play to the left, Jack. I think he might take the bunker out of play.
Well, he knows that there's tomorrow if he can make 5. Well, he's obviously got a very poor lie. He's tried to pick the club up and
cut the ball out of this. And he did not catch the ball solidly. Caught it a little bit heavy, which is the thing that happens with a sandy divot. That's one of the things that I feel should be changed in golf. I think that is ground under repair. And I don't care what the rules say, I think that's ground under repair.
But it is interesting, Jack, that the breaks have kind of balanced out here. And now Ernie Els arrives at the 18th. Both watching. The story is this: 2 shots to get in. It'll be a 3-way playoff tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
He's got a tough way to go from there, Brett. He's handled it all day. He's handled the pressure well. He's got a tough 2-putt here, but I fully expect Ernie to get the ball down in 2.
Once it gets up on top, Jack, it's going to break hugely to the right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a right breaker once it gets on top, Rossi. It's just a matter of keeping it the second putt underneath the hole where he doesn't leave himself with a real tough putt for a tie. Both drives, 17 and 18 left. That's uncharacteristic from him. He's a very straight driver for a long hitter.
Started off, Jack, you were out playing and missed his opening tee shot, and he took it left, and he has struggled.
That's up over a hump, down through a valley, up over a ridge, and breaking to the right. That is a tough putt. Probably about 40 feet, Rossi?
I'd say so.
There will be a playoff tomorrow. The only question remaining, will Colin Montgomerie be out just with Loren Roberts, or will Ernie Els join them? Els must make this putt to join the other two.
The exact same putt that Loren Roberts missed.
Frank Nablo will wind up with for him has been a very disappointing round, but a very, very good championship when you consider that for Frank, this is his first appearance in a United States Open. Not easy. He was out with the last group today. A good friend in Ernie Els, and a young man from Auckland, New Zealand. Handled himself quite well. Yeah, I'm sure he wanted to do better today, but maybe he can wind up here and finish up with a flourish, knock in a birdie. Let's go to Mark Rolfe. Mark?
When you missed the putt on the 18th green, did you think you had lost the U.S. Open there?
Well, yeah, definitely. Thought that I wouldn't win it today. You know, naturally, I needed a bogey from Mr. Els to get in, but unfortunately, he made bogey, and now I have life again tomorrow.
He obliged. It was a tremendous day of ups and downs for you. You certainly were down there for a moment. Are you feeling good about going into tomorrow now?
Well, I'm just glad I have a chance now. You know, I felt horrible after hitting that putt because I've hit so many good putts all week. And, you know, that putt was a very makeable putt and just hit a horrible putt. So.
All right, well, we'll see you out here in the morning.
All right.
Okay, Brent?
Here it is. Ernie Els. Make this putt, and it's a 3-way playoff. If not, it's 2. ball beginning at 10 o'clock. And there is one of them. And there are two of them. Loren Roberts, Alan Montgomery, Ernie Els. The one that got away really from Ernie, wasn't it? Colin, what's your feeling now about a three-way playoff? What are your thoughts and your emotions?
All I can say there is Ernie did very well to make 5. That was an exceptionally good second putt. It's the 3 of us now. I mean, I feel a bonus to be there. Only scoring 1 under today, I thought I needed more. So I mean, I've got a bonus out of this. I'm in a playoff now, and as I say, anything can happen in that. And but unfortunately, the greens are getting awfully quick now and awfully firm. So it's going to be very, very difficult to put any sort of score together. But in playoffs, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of keeping going, and as I have done all week.
How have you done against Ernie Els when you've played with him?
In Europe, I haven't sort of gone head-to-head with him as such before, but I rate him very highly, and that was an exceptionally good second putt he held there to get in the playoffs. So he'll be tough to beat, and so will Loren, obviously.
Frank?
This is the last of the big events that has an 18-hole playoff. Yeah. Truthfully, if you could go out now and play 1 hole, it's decided that way, or come back tomorrow and play 18, what would be your pick?
I'd rather have 18 holes.
Very good.
Well, this is the first 3-way playoff for a U.S. Open since 1963, when the late Julius Boros beat Arnold Palmer and Jackie Cupid. So long, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 on ESPN and 12:30 here on ABC.